Twitch has decided to draw a line in the sand, crushing all hopes of a sub-split for you, the streamers who spend your time on the platform. They've decided they're going to push more ads. They want that to be the future of revenue on the platform. But this short-sighted mistake might cause them an entire platform to fail. That's right. And while they're doing that, YouTube is capitalizing on their short-sightedness, but all of that will be covered in today's podcast. First, my name is LJ with the Stream Room Podcast, and I've got the boys here.
Hello, I'm Nicktacular. What's going on, everybody?
Hello, I'm Reeps. Lovely to see you all, or rather, you hear my voice all. How we going, boys?
No, you can see them.
Oh,
you can see them.
Oh, yeah, I can see them.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah,
you can see them. Yeah, I can see you right now, Jeffrey.
They're the voices you hear in your head, Reeps.
Oh, that makes so much more sense now.
Yeah.
So much more
Stop
sense.
touching yourself, Jimison.
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 I like that.
It's a name.
Jimison.
It's a name.
Is it? Does somebody call their kid Jimison?
I don't know. If anyone called Jim's pretty much just a loser, right? Let's just say that. Let's go. Let's go.
Damn,
Let's
all right,
start
screw
hot
you
today.
if your name's Jim
Wow.
according to LJ.
All right.
I'm just gonna throw it out there. I'm pretty sick today. I don't know about you boys. I think we've all got a bit of a cold, a bit of a flu, but we're powering through because that's what you do as a content creator, isn't it?
Yeah,
You power
absolutely.
You power through, dudes. Okay, so much has happened.
Yes.
So much has happened. It is actually ridiculous just how much has happened. Since we recorded last week, the drama that we covered is like not even the tip of the iceberg. It's not even the bottom of the iceberg. It is like an ice cube in a fridge compared to what is going on
It's
Twitch.
like Ouroboros. They're just eating each other's tail. It's crazy, Nick. Sorry to interrupt.
I know, it's absolutely nuts. Yeah, it's like we just like we saw a little bit of snowfall off and like, let's talk about that. And then literally the next day, or not even like hours after
It was
we finished
during the podcast.
during the podcast, an avalanche of just crap just happened.
We should probably say what that crap was. Does anybody want to take the reins here for
Yeah,
people who are
so-
not in the know?
The LJ short summary of it, I'm getting really good at this because I have to summarize it always for my wife. She'll be like, what's going on? And I'll have to summarize it all.
yeah.
But essentially, the short of it all was that last podcast we wrapped up and we were really just talking about the slicker gambling stuff, right? And then Twitch banned gambling, which was really, really cool. They didn't ban all of it. They just banned things like unofficial, unregulated bannings of slots, luck-based gambling, things that weren't regulated in America.
Yeah, certain
now,
like
that's
companies, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
websites.
so well, it's not certain companies. It's they're trying to be really careful with the wording, and there's a reason for that. So they're banning what's called unregulated gambling websites, such as crypto, such as other things like that. But one of the big ones they named was Stake.com, and then Stake.com isn't regulated in America, but the exact same company, Stake.us, I believe, is. And so we come across a small issue where they've banned gambling, but people can still sports bet. People can still bet based on things that are actually based in America. So it's not really a gambling ban. I personally would have liked them to come out and say, hey, we're going to ban, that's right, all sponsored gambling.
Yeah.
That I would have been really like, that is the right move there. But otherwise, people will just move over to stake.us and they'll do the US version of it and likely have the exact same thing. Or they can bet on like tennis matches and things like that, which is not a huge deal. So big win for Twitch PR, right? Like we were all pretty excited about that. Could have been better, but big win.
Still great step forward.
So Twitch is like at the top of the mountain and everyone's like, you've done well, Twitch. Thank you so much. And then...
And then they come out and go, hey, just a heads up. We know that the user voice, which before we move on for this, if you don't know what user voices are, Twitch has a way of getting feedback from the community. One of the few websites, giant websites that actually listens to it as well, shockingly. But they create user voices and they actually read them. Whether they do them or not is another question. But there's been a user voice that's been around for about 6 months now, and it pops up every year or so. And it always does huge numbers. And it's essentially, should we increase the sub split to 70-30? Which means a streamer puts that forward and then puts it out to the public. And if people like it, they upvote it and comment on it. Now, I don't think this is a fair user voice personally, playing devil's advocate, because as streamers, when you give a streamer a user voice and say, hey, streamer, want to make more money? They're all going to say yes.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't make sense to use the user voice system in this way, but I get it. It is technically a user voice.
Yeah.
So it goes around all the time. And it's been a really big one over the last 6 months, people pushing it, saying we want a 70-30 sub split for everyone. If people didn't know, 70-30 sub splits were reserved for the top streamers. And honestly, they probably stopped giving them out about 4 years ago. They stopped giving out 70-30 to new partners and in general to any partner. And weirdly, there's always been a rumor about how you get the 70-30. So you guys were saying in the Discord the other day that it was like maintaining 1,000 subs, whereas I got told it was maintaining 3,000 subs. I talked to Iona and they thought it was maintaining like 1,500 for like 3 months. There's all these different things and they were never clear.
Yeah.
But it is that thing of it's always been, maintain a certain amount of subs for around 3 months. And they're not saying gifted subs, they're saying individual subs.
Is that true? It's individual.
Individual subs, not gifted subs.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Okay. And so it's always been a big thing about like, how do you get the 70-30 split?
Right.
But almost no content creator who's become a partner or grown in the last couple of years has actually been given that, right? Unless they've got an exclusivity deal and they're quite top and they've actually pushed for it, right? And you see creators all over Twitter saying it, and none of us have it. I don't know a single person that actually has it, right? Like personally, that is. But here's the thing. User voice pick kicks off and they kind of have to start addressing it because it's getting pushed. So on the same day as them getting a huge PR win about the fact that they're cracking down slightly on gambling, they come out and say, hey, we're never going to give you guys 70-30. In fact, we're going the opposite direction. We're telling you right now, we'll always give you 50-50 and nothing else. And also top creators out there who are already on the 70-30, you will keep 70-30 until you earn $100,000 on the platform. And then once you've earned $100,000, we're going to start giving you 50-50 on the rest.
Yep. Because you know what? Twitch and streamers, they're in this together. That's words from the email.
And so the reason they say they're in this together is because it's, fair, even 50-50, right?
Yeah.
But they're also saying that the big reason is they can't afford to run the servers that Amazon gives them because of the cost of the subs. That was their big reasoning, right? And this is shocking, to be entirely honest. But
to be fair, I'm sure it is expensive to
Mm-hmm.
run a lot of what they're running.
Well, okay, Amazon owns them.
Yeah.
They get a little cheeky discount, probably, right?
A little cheeky.
But here's the thing, right? A few funny things came out of this. Let's talk about the elephant in the room first. No one was on 70-30. The only real change this is affecting is the top 1%. But also, it really just says to all the partners of our size and people trying to grow now, hey guys, no longer are we going to carry a fake carrot in front of you. This thing doesn't exist.
Yep.
It's more of an honest, they're more being honest with you, right? Rather than just being quietly not telling people that it's happening. So I don't think this changes much. What do you guys think?
I think it's a bad PR move for Twitch because I think a lot of people who are streamers are like, oh, there is that fake carrot that they may think, but it's also an actual carrot. We know that there's 70-30 splits out there, right? And in the scheme of things, we know that YouTube has a 70-30 split when it comes to streaming. Now, we know that they're not the mecca, that they are not the mecca at the moment of live streaming, but they can become that. And to me, if I'm a new streamer and I've got to choose between YouTube or Twitch, and I have to think monetarily, okay, how do I go about this? And I see that Twitch is 50-50 all the way, no matter how well you do, no matter how many audience members you have. While YouTube is straight off the bat going, we'll give you 70% of exactly what you make when it comes to memberships, and you can set your own prizes and things like that. To me, that's a lot more enticing. And I feel that this isn't instituted, by the way, this Twitch thing until June of 2023. So I think you're going to see when it comes to June of 2023, there will be an exodus. And I'm not saying it's going to be a guaranteed exodus or it's going to be huge or anything like that. But I think a lot of partners out there are going to be like, well, what's the point of me getting less money doing the exact same thing on this platform when I can have more of a reach and more of a split if I go to YouTube? So I think it's a really poor thing. I think it should have just been a complete, everybody gets 70-30. That would have been amazing for Twitch. Now, I understand they may not be able to do that. I get it. This is me fantasizing. But if Twitch was like, yo, 70-30 for everyone, I think you'd see a lot more people want to stay on Twitch and want to, put the flag in the ground and go, Twitch, we're here for you because you've given us all this live streaming, avenue and discoverability or whatever it is. Why would we go to YouTube? So that's my initial thoughts.
Yeah. Everyone that I've seen have takes on this have all said that they all genuinely love Twitch for what it is, the culture, everything that offers and what you can do on the platform. And it just sucks. It's like you feel like you keep getting let down. But at the end of the day, while they are a business, right? They can only afford what they can afford. Like you said, Reeps, you can fantasize for the best possible outcome, but it's what they can feasibly do.
Yeah.
And look, even if they just gave us a little bit of a boost, even if they just said, look, down the track, we'd love to offer better splits. Right now, the best we can do is a 55-45. And then that's it. It's that just shows, okay, they're willing to try and help streamers. They want to better like the entire experience and the relationship between the platform and all the creators, but it's going to take time for them to be able to offer those splits. Like just like not to continue holding a carrot in the stick, but being realistic, saying, look, this is all we can do right now. There's no promises for the future, but we would like to. And then just that little bit of a change would have been like, cool. So Twitch is actually trying. It's like, yeah, sure, it's only a 5% boost, but it's still a 5% boost in the right direction. But I don't know. And a lot of people were just complaining about this, as if it personally affected them. It's like, look, it sucks for the top, 0.1% who actually are getting affected by the new 50-50 split after 100K earnings. But for everyone else, it doesn't affect them in the slightest. And I see a lot of people having those takes being like, I can't believe it. I'll never get this. It's like, it's not going to, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
It's,
I think it really, there's two other things that I think have come out of this, right? So that's the first one. People having takes about like where the monetary thing is, right? And then the other reaction was, there's been a lot of people posting about how, stop telling us we have to diversify. We know. Right? Like I've seen this all the time, right? Like partners our size are tweeting this out and saying this and like having complaints and stuff like that. And it's like, and often they say, we don't have enough time to do these things. But like, I'm going to say a really hot take here. If you're a Twitch partner around our size and you're not uploading TikToks, shorts, YouTube videos and all that stuff like that, and then this news came out and you thought to say, what do you mean? We don't have enough time. You can't say that and do this and blah, blah, blah. The thing that I think is wild there is like, you can go look at their schedules and they're streaming wild hours, right? And I'm like, I feel like I understand it takes a huge amount of time and energy. I have an editor doing it for me and I still had to cut back to 3 days a week of streaming. Because I couldn't do 4 days a week while also making thumbnails, planning out, doing recordings, doing shorts and TikToks. It's like I took a huge hit to my revenue as well. I went down from like averaging 500 subs a month to like 250, 300 by going to 3 days a week. But I did that so that I could focus on diversifying to a new platform. And people are probably like, well, LJ, you're lucky you've got those things. It's like, I'm not, it's like, dude, the reason people are yelling to diversify when this news comes out is because you've always needed to diversify. And the fact that you're upset about this change and yet you still have the exact same like 30, 40 hour streams every single like of weekly, or like you're not actually uploading and stuff like that. It's because we need to tell you guys, hey, we like you as people and streamers and creators. We want you to keep doing it. You need to listen. These platforms don't like you.
Yeah. You've opened up a box here, LJ, and to me, I just have to like nod my head if you're not watching the video thing, because it's so true. Like I'd stream 4 days a week and I am dead. Like I am literally, to do all the other stuff that I have to do, I'm dead, and it's not good for me. It's not good for me mentally and healthily. And it's not good for my career overall, because as we've said, I think we all agree that streaming should be kind of complementary. It should not be the core of what you do. It's a complementary thing where you've established yourself on other platforms, other medias, things like that, and then you stream. Because it is kind of helping those algorithms grow on those channels, or people are finding you from it. I have noticed so much more growth in terms of YouTube just by doing shorts, by actually focusing on shorts and making them, very nice and, a lot more presentable than just going to join combo and doing a quick little cut. Now they've added subtitles through the roof, mate. Like just people are like, okay, I'm getting it. We're making content for the platform, as you say, LJ, all the time. You make content for the platform. You don't make it for like yourself, and hopefully, it sticks around. So I have to agree with you on that. People who are saying that, oh, this sucks on Twitch's behalf, it doesn't really change. We've always been on 50-50. But now that there's kind of this line in the sand of we're definitely not doing it from June 2023 onwards, to me, it's made me look at my whole career and go, I need to change something. So I'm actually really happy that Twitch has said this, because I'm like, I know that I cannot have a living off of Twitch. It's just not possible for me. I'm not huge. I'm not Kai Cenat, who's like the most subscribed person on there at the moment. Like he can do it. He can go 12 hours a day and get more and more subs. But me, hell no. That's just no. So I'm literally writing down my new schedule. I'm writing down what I'm going to be doing on this day when it comes to YouTube, what I'm going to be doing on this day when it comes to TikTok. I'm changing my whole schedule going forward. So I'm really happy about that. It's actually exciting for me.
Yeah, I'm very much in the same boat where I'm considering going down. Not considering, I'm pretty much waiting for the right time, I think, to go to 3 days.
Yep.
Where I'm just going to be doing, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday, and those are going to be my 3 days. Because it's the same. Like, I want to have that extra time to put into YouTube content and diversify even further than I already am, and putting that focus into a platform that can be more sustainable on the long term. And with everything that's happened, Twitch has basically said to us, look, we don't want to be your main thing. We want to be your side piece. That's literally it. Twitch is essentially just the side piece now. There's truly no hope for it to be your only thing. Like, yes, the essence of just clicking go live and then just sitting there playing games and chatting in itself, it may seem easy to do, a few hours a few times a week. Which is why a lot of people jump to streaming, because they don't have to worry about coming up with an idea, coming up with a script, editing, recording and posting, putting time and effort into researching how to make good thumbnails, what tags to use. Like, people look at that and they're going, no, that's so much work. I don't want to do that. I just want to click go live and do it. And then they're playing Fortnite. I'm like, why am I not growing? So...
But like, also, here's the thing, right? There's a really weird section of Twitch, which is like our size, right? Like I grew at first just on Twitch. You guys both grew just on Twitch, right? And there's a huge amount of us who have all grown just on Twitch, either from grassroots, raids, networking, or being in the pandemic and sitting at the top of a category, right? And it really shocks me because I feel like anyone who's gotten to 100 viewers should have seen that they hit a plateau, right? At a certain point, they hit a plateau. And I'm really shocked. I'm really, really shocked that during all this news, that people are still pushing the narrative of, I don't have time. How am I supposed to diversify? When it's like, dude, just cut one stream out a week. And it's like, well, then I lose revenue. It's like, this is our point, right? Like, this is our point, is that streaming is an active thing. It is like you have to be doing it in order to live, compared to upload a YouTube video. I uploaded the video on Stream Scheme 2 weeks ago, and I haven't even looked at anything since then. And I've leaked this before. I make about 200 Australian dollars on Stream Scheme a day, and that's about 15,000 to 16,000 views a day, right? Which, if I uploaded every week, would be way higher. But I'm not pressured to do that, right? And that's not including sponsors, which sadly I can't leak sponsors because that's like an NDA.
We can. We've been sponsored by Dreams Club. And we're making millions off the affiliate link. Sorry.
Did you guys see me pussy it out last week?
No, what happened?
Last week we said that our thumbnail was going to be Slicker on the left and Dream on the right, and then a big scam sticker across both of them. Because of the Dream Smile Club.
Yeah.
And then I pussied it out. I made the whole thumbnail, and then I was like, I'm scared of Dream. I'm scared of his fans.
Just kids with masks coming to your house and knocking on your door.
You call us out on Twitter. This podcast is painting me in a bad light. Who are these people?
So, okay, and the third thing that's come out of this change that honestly really shocks me is just generally, it's interesting seeing how people are reacting to the news about ads, okay? Because everyone is talking about the news about ads, because let's not pretend Twitch is pushing ads more. They are. And there's a reason, because advertising is a better market for them and it's better for their revenue. But, small issue, okay? I haven't seen this take anywhere, and this is my hot take that I've saved for this potty as the premiere of my hot take on this.
Here we go.
Okay? Twitch pushing for ads is very short-sighted and shows more than anything how out of touch they actually are with their viewers. Now, you guys, you're probably thinking to yourself, yeah, because it interrupts live content. No. Even Devin Nash has said that he thinks ads are the best way to keep the platform afloat, even though it is inherently against it, right? Every industry professional said ads are just required to keep platforms afloat. They're for it, right? But here's the problem. Twitch has a community culture. Right? Every single streamer is connected to every single other streamer in some way, and their viewers interlap, they go across it, they do all those things. Now, the problem there is we learned from YouTube when the top 1% make mistakes, advertisers don't want their ads playing on it. Logan Paul went to the suicide forest. PewDiePie said a racial slur. The top 1% of the creators on YouTube made mistakes. Advertisers said, we don't want our brand represented on these people, and pulled from the entire platform, creating the adpocalypse. One of the biggest issues in content creation on YouTube, causing thousands upon thousands of creators to no longer be able to get paid from ads and have to push to other places like merch, Patreon, and things like that.
Yeah.
If Twitch pushes towards ads, they not realize the fact that they have more issues than YouTube has ever had in those kinds of things because they have such a huge community culture. They're setting themselves up to have major issues with advertisers not wanting to be involved in the platform. Just look at the last few weeks. The sexual assault allegations that have come out, the top streamers covering up sexual assault, other streamers going after each other's throats. A few months back, Pokimane watching all of Avatar: Last Airbender, all of Hunter x Hunter, all of Death Note, all of Naruto. Sorry, those were done by other streamers like Sky's Toast and stuff.
Yes.
All of these creators, these are the top of the top of the top of the top, like top 50, and they're doing these things. I understand the bottom to make mistakes as well, but those are the ones who influence the advertisers and whether or not they want to be involved in the platform. I don't understand how they are actually okay with pushing towards advertising when it's clear that the platform is represented by people who have more dramas than YouTube has.
Yeah.
And then-
Right?
yeah.
Especially because it gets mainstream media attention more, not to mention the fact that a child sex predator ring was just revealed on Twitch as well. Which was
Not a good look.
also barely anyone's talking about it.
Yeah, which
Like,
is wild.
It's like it's been over foreshadowed by the fucking drama between the big streamers, and no one's talking about the fact that Bloomberg just found like a wild issue with child safety on Twitch. But here's the thing, right? To summarize all of this up, Twitch doesn't have an automatic system like YouTube does. YouTube's system is built on Google, which means if you do certain things, the ads won't play on your channel. Twitch is built manually, which means that they, have more control over where the ads go into who, but also it means they have to do so much more legwork. It's going to cost them so much more money to control and understand where ads are going and protect advertisers and do those things. Whereas YouTube, robot, AI does it.
Yeah, like the thing is the biggest difference is like the level of ad targeting. Like YouTube can charge a higher amount, and you know I'm not gonna, first I want to preface I'm not trying to be an expert on this. There's stuff I've learned through watching multiple professionals. One of them being Devin Nash, who did touch on this as well. But like Twitch, you've experienced this on Twitch as well. You keep seeing the same ad. Everybody keeps seeing the same ad, and that's because they don't have any type of proper targeting. So when an advertiser comes to Twitch and says, "Hey, I want my ad to go out to this type of demographic," Twitch can't really target it specifically to what they want. So then they can't charge as much to those advertisers, whereas YouTube absolutely can. That's why the adpocalypse hurts so much, because when those advertisers pulled out, that was a lot of money being lost. But on Twitch, they can't target as much, that's why the same ad just gets pushed to everybody. So when an advertiser can't say, I don't want my ad to be advertised on, like Call of Duty streams, like any FPS, like shooters, right? Because they could say, okay, anyone streaming in this category, this ad won't play, right? They have that. I'm sure that type of functionality exists, but there's no fine grain for like the demographic, and so it's a really big problem.
Yeah, I think
They've got geographic. I will say
Yeah.
that. They have
there is
geographic. So,
yeah.
for example, ANZ ads play ANZ, which is why anyone overseas never saw the Optus ad that I did.
speaking of Optus,
Yeah, let's not talk. If people don't know that I was on an ad for Optus a while ago, and then just recently it just came out that Optus had one of the biggest data hacks and leaks of all time in Australia. They kept, dude, did you guys hear about this? They kept every single person who's ever bought an Optus phone. At a certain point, you have to give them like a driver's license number because you need to like register who you are and they need to know you're a real person. They kept them.
no, because people don't know, there was a big data breach, obviously, of Optus, which is our second largest telco, I believe, in Australia. And the hackers are saying that they're going to sell it off if they don't get X amount of money from Optus. So there's this big scandal at the moment happening in Australia. So just to keep people up to date. But that's crazy, especially with the driver's license thing.
It was also because telecom in Australia doesn't have right to erasure or right to forget in some forms. They gained nothing from keeping the driver's license. This is so interesting on data stuff. They gained nothing from keeping them other than the fact that it was cheaper to keep them than cheaper to hire someone to remove them.
Wow.
So they kept all of the driver's license. So all of the driver's license and people's names have leaked, And when you contact DMT, which is Department of Motor Transport here in Australia, and you ask them, right, this leak isn't enough to change your driver's license number with them.
That's crazy.
They said, unless fraud actually happens with it, we won't change it for you. So you can't even preemptively look after yourself and protect yourself when it's openly been said they're going to sell it off and do bad things with it, which is wacky.
That's insane.
That's crazy. And this is why I
If you
buy
don't
my
know,
phones
our driver's
outright.
license.
Just buy them prepaid.
Well, here's the thing, right? Our driver's license numbers, people don't understand. It's kind of like a social security number as well, sort of, right?
Basically,
like you can't do as much with it, but like you can do a lot with that. If you get out, because it has your name, your date of birth, your full like license, everything. So it's like, it's a big deal if someone's got your driver's license.
Yeah.
And so they do, which is wild. But anyway, back onto it. Essentially, I am shocked about the fact that Twitch is pushing towards more ads when it is aggressively bad for the experience, right? Like even YouTube aren't running mid-rolls and pre-rolls and stuff on their streams. It's terrible, not just for that, but it's also terrible for the sense that their top streamers aren't exactly the types of people that advertisers want to be involved in. Like that's just a hard fact as well.
No.
And third, the platform is just far too manual to actually do this properly. Like I understand they've currently set it up as well, so like it's geographic, but there's also color schemes that we've been given. So every single streamer gets like green, yellow, red behind the scenes, and we won't ever find it out, but they know who's like a streamer that shouldn't have certain types of ads played on, right? But it just inherently doesn't work. Like it's just such a bad system, and I honestly cannot believe they're pushing for it. Like it blows me away.
On the day that they announced the new like the sub-split stuff, I believe it was the Vice like head of like creation or something at Twitch announced that they were leaving as well.
That's right.
And there was a big article. I did link it, but I can't remember which news website had posted it. But essentially, it was a Bloomberg article. There we go. Yeah, like not the chief, but like the vice chief of creator chief left after the sub-split fiasco. But apparently, as well as they were discussing all these like ad changes about like increasing advertising, new sub-splits, this and that. Apparently, according to sources that have been kept anonymous, employees inside of Twitch actually spoke out against a lot of these changes, saying that they were like anti-creator focused, and they were completely ignored. So all these changes coming very like directly from the top. And there's been other articles from like with interviews with a lot of higher ups at Twitch that have said like they've flat out said they're very business and like profit focused. And it makes sense with everything that's happened. It makes sense. They're not even thinking about the creators or the viewers, and as they're the lifeblood of the entire platform. If creators continue to leave and viewers continue to leave, what does that mean? Less creators means there's like, less people on the platform to try and get in front of eyes. If there's less viewers watching, that's less eyes that the ads can go out to. So they're just going to go into a complete downward spiral unless major changes. Unless major leadership changes happen at Twitch, I think it's just going to continue getting worse and worse. And this is why people are seeing everything that's happened in this past week as a major red flag. And I'm sure if you follow any type of like streamer Twitter on Twitch, you would have seen a lot of people were saying like, nope, that's it. I'm leaving Twitch now, like for good. Like, a year ago, people were kind of dipping their toes, like switching to YouTube. But now I think this is the time where people are literally planning a proper like move from Twitch to YouTube, and then just going to stick there. And then I hope those people actually, will make actual recorded content on top of live streaming on YouTube. But yeah, with all of this happening, it's just gone completely haywire. So I that's really the only way I see things changing is if they have a major leadership change and they actually think about where the lifeblood of Twitch is and how like realize that if there's no creators and there's no viewers to watch those creators, then the whole platform is going to die.
Yeah. A line's being drawn in the sand, quite literally. I think that these things that have come out, because they've done good things in terms of the whole gambling stuff, but when it comes to actually the advertisements, you now have two masters. Before it was just like Twitch was like, okay, we care about the creatives and we care about the people watching, right? But now they also have to answer to the advertisers. Because the advertisers, as LJ and Nick have so rightly said, if you put like a Coca-Cola ad on somebody who's got like, sexual assault allegations against them, then they're gonna be like, holy crap, right? And then you're gonna see like, with the advertisers, they're going to want more kind of authority over where these advertisements go. And because of that, you're going to see people change their kind of content as well, because I think we will come to the state where there will be CPM and RPM, because at the moment, we just kind of get like this blanket payment for showing ads on our channel. But when they become targeted, you know what I mean? You're going to see certain channels, let's just say ASMR channels, maybe get more than just chatting channels or things like that, because more advertisers want to go with the safe bet of nice, tranquil places, chill out streams and stuff, rather than these people who cause
never
drama.
been to an ASMR stream in his fucking life. You can tell this man has never been to an ASMR stream. Mate, have you not been in that channel?
True.
Yeah,
it was a bad analogy. Let's just
they're
say
tranquil, but I don't think anyone's sitting around thinking to themselves, oh yeah, this is where I want my ads to be.
Stardew Valley. People who play Stardew Valley, chill streams. People who play
ASMR
chill streams, they want their money there, right? Family friendly channels.
I've gone to ASMR. I've gone to ASMR.
Oh God,
right?
here we go.
I gotta log in because I want this to be recommended to me from now on.
Jeez.
For some reason, my Twitch has decided to keep logging me out.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there, I'm thinking to myself, like, are they logging me out because like am I getting logged in somewhere else?
That's scary.
I don't understand it. It is. It's very strange lately. But guys, put on two-factor authenticator. Look after yourself.
Yes, please.
All right.
Do
So
it.
I'm in the ASMR category. Okay. The top one is a woman licking the inside of an ear microphone.
Nice.
So it has the ears on either
Oh
side.
yeah. Classic.
The second one is a woman talking directly into it while cleaning it. Okay. The third one, no, that's just a normal ASMR stream.
Nice.
The fourth one, normal ASMR stream. The fifth one, Pappy 18 plus, with a woman in lingerie doing the ears. And then the next sixth one is redhead girl lickies with a tongue emoji. And the thumbnail for it is it is very apt. It is this.
Nice.
As she licks an ear. Then we've got
Excellent.
18 plus ASMR, 18 plus ASMR, ASMR be back soon of woman in lingerie. The ASMR community, I feel so bad for them. They have been overrun, like aggressively overrun. There's also a lot of ASMR in here that'll have like a scantily clad picture of an anime girl in like a very short skirt and stuff like that.
I got a raid like about a year back from a certain VTuber, right? And this was in the early goings, and they were just playing games. It was a VTuber, anime type of VTuber, and they had about like, I'd say 100, 200. They then moved to ASMR. They are now at like 2,000, 3,000 viewer range because they've made it completely, adult focused, 18 plus, and just, kink fetishes, things like that. And it is crazy how much they've grown. Like they're the type of stream that you go into and you look at their like weekly subs and it's like $200 from this person. 200 subs from this person, 1,000 subs from this person. You're like, oh my God, they're just raking it in. Crazy.
I've put a screenshot in general for you boys.
Oh, okay. Hold up. Should I put this on?
There you go. Yeah. Look, here's the thing,
I
right?
put this up?
By the way,
Can I put
I want to
this up?
clarify this, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Do you. I think you get that money. I 100%,
Yeah.
right? You get that fucking money. You go hard. There's an audience for it. Don't get shut down. Do you? But I do think it's very funny that this is like 99% of the ASMR category right now. Because when Amaranth came into the ASMR category, everyone in the ASMR community, well, before that, they were sort of like semi-normal, and the majority of them were semi-normal. And then now everyone in the ASMR community fucking hates doing ASMR on Twitch because this is what it is.
This is
now.
what it's become. Those ears
You
must
know?
be delicious. That
Kitten
freeze
purrs.
frame is amazing.
It's the epitome of like Twitch ASMR, right?
You
there.
can show it if you want. I think it's
I
fine.
don't think it's
yeah.
a bad thing. It's
I
Just
think it's
blur
fine.
the username. That's all you
I'll
gotta
blur
do.
the username. Don't worry about that.
I love this one. Kitten purrs and licks to help you relax. And it's a woman in underwear with her legs up very high, licking an ear.
Isn't that
And
your
again?
alt channel, LJ?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But here's the thing, right? Again, I don't care, right? They're in the category. They're not breaking terms of service. You do you.
Yes.
I just think it's hilarious though. Like that it's like such a specific thing that you see through this category now. Which is why I thought it was so funny that Reeps goes, yeah, advertisers will be much more likely to.
I did a bad analogy. I was thinking off the top of my head. I was trying to think of niche genres. I'm sorry. I screwed up.
Cooking. Cooking could be good.
Cooking.
I'd say-
Cooking, yeah.
Arts and crafts, art in general, like that. I think those are the safe ones that you think that advertisers want to go with because they know that that kind of community is wholesome and they're there to learn a skill or whatever it is. Well, with other ones, just chatting, you know that if you dip your toes into just chatting, advertisers are going to be like, whoa, no. But I do see like, CPM coming in. I do see that there's going to be different maybe categories that you will be listed under in the Twitch databanks that we don't really see, saying that this person's high risk, this person's not, and maybe you get more better advertisers if they ever institute it into their source code or whatever it is. So yeah.
On top of all of this, we also need to talk about the Cheercoin fiasco.
Oh, yeah.
We also
Go
need
on,
to,
that's you.
Yeah,
You-
this
yeah,
is
I didn't
all
even know
me,
about this.
Oh, let me roll up the sleeves, everybody.
Please.
All right. If you don't know what I'm talking about when we mention cheer coins, here's the basic rundown. Twitch, just like about a week ago, considering about 2 weeks ago now, they sent out an email doing another experiment, as they do. They randomly select streamers to be a part of these experiments. And this experiment was for what they're calling a cheer coin, which is essentially just like a super chat that YouTube has where, you pay like a monetary amount, like $2, $5, something, and your message, gets highlighted. Except this it doesn't push it to the top like YouTube does. It just like has it in the chat feed, but it's very highlighted in the chat.
Okay.
And they talk about it saying, how they're trying to create different opportunities for streamers to monetize. And mentioning that, when a viewer clicks one of these cheer coin amounts, the more that they cheer, they can actually unlock sub emotes for non-subs. So everyone looked at this kind going, okay, this is kind of cool. And they did not in the email specify that they would be disabling bits during this experiment. But technically they did. It was in their FAQ at the very bottom of the page that they said they'll be disabling. But pretty much everyone kind of looked at this going, okay. I mean, bits were fine, but sure, we'll see what this... Everyone basically assumed this was just something they were doing in addition to bits.
Right.
So not many people really opted out. Some people did because they're just like, nah, I don't want to deal with it. Anyway, nothing happens for like a week and a half. And on Friday, I did a subathon. And for those that don't know, with subathons, you can use subs or bits to increase the timer for incentives. And that was the day they switched my channel over to cheer coins. And it just completely messed the whole thing up. And then we realized how bad cheer coins actually were. And they're absolutely so annoying and horrible. You can't cheer a custom amount. The API completely changed. So none of the bit alerts were actually working. They just completely turned off entirely. You couldn't even buy bits in the channel. You had to literally go to another channel to buy bits. And then you had to go on mobile to the streamer's channel so that you could cheer bits. It was an absolute nightmare. And there's been a lot of controversy around these cheer coins because the splits are actually different as well. From the viewer end, they click a $2 cheer coin, right? And then it pops up saying that the stream, you gave the streamer a $2. However, the split is not as clear as it is. They say that we get 80% of the split, but that's after fees. So it's you cheer $2, then fees are deducted, and those fees change depending on whether you paid with a credit card or paid through PayPal. And then after that, what's left, you get 80% of that. So the cut is in some cases a lot worse than bits. And so this sent people into an absolute uproar because bits were fine. No one had any issues with bits.
No.
But Twitch basically wanted to put, I guess, a little bit of extra money in their pocket by pushing this cheer coin thing. And there was an absolute uproar all over Twitter. People just hated the fact of it. And not realizing that they set a very short date to actually opt out of this.
Right.
So you can actually opt out of these experiments. And they do mention this in the emails. But again, there was no really cause for concern. I didn't expect bits to be turned off on my channel.
That's what boggles my mind is why are they now going, let's not get the revenue that we're pretty much guaranteed with bits. Let's just make sure that people really use this super cheer coin. Why would they do that? That's just more money in their pockets. I don't get it.
I don't know. Like bits were clear. It's like you want to buy 100 bits, which is $1. So you pay $1.40 to Twitch. Twitch takes the 40 cents, and then that dollar of bits you can give to the streamer, and they know that they're getting $1.
Yeah.
It was nice and clear cut. It made sense. People had accepted that. And then, obviously there's the bulk discount. Like if you buy a bigger amount of bits, then you get a discount. Like 1,500 bits, you get a 5% off. And people enjoyed, they completely accepted this, and they were completely happy with it. Bits offer so much more flexibility. Like people can set bit alerts for 20 bits, 59 bits. Like you can get really granular. But yeah, this Cheercoin thing just completely threw it all in the water. So that because of this uproar, Twitch then came out and said that everyone had an extended amount of time to opt out of this. They had up until the 29th of September. On the user voice feedback for Cheercoins, there was a greatly upvoted comment. Apparently, they didn't offer enough time to opt out of this, and apparently it breaks some rules in Norway and a lot of Europe where they need to provide at least 10 days to opt out of something, especially when it's affecting monetization and things like that. So this guy's like, if you don't change this, you're going to be in real deep crap. So I don't know if that played into it much, but that was pushed up right to the top of the user voice feedback through upvoting. So it was a complete and utter just horror show.
So frustrating for you,
thankfully,
mate.
though, after they increased the amount of time to opt out, the next day the cheer coins were gone. So thankfully, my channel's back to normal. So I mean, by the time you hear this recording, it's obviously going to be too late by the time for opt out. But yeah, it was an absolute horrible experience that they did. No one asked for this. They just pushed it out there, trying to emulate YouTube super chats. If they just did this in addition, if this was an option,
that's really what it should have been.
It's really what it should have been. And I said this in my feedback. I'm like, this is terrible. I don't want this replacing bits on my channel. But if you guys do this as an additional thing, that's fine. Because unlocking sub emotes for non-subs, that's cool. Someone can, do a cheer coin for $20 and then unlock a bunch of sub emotes for non-subs. And there's no confirmation on the exact percentage splits. It's still a little bit gray. Zach Busey put a tweet out there kind of showing the splits. It seems like on the lower end, from about between $1 and $10, the cheer coins are a lot worse than bits. But as you kind of get into the higher range, they're sort of on par with bits. The split's a little bit under bits.
Right.
But overall, a lot of people, you go into a lot of channels, even in big channels, people still cheer small amounts of bits because it's easy and it's just a way that they can just support a little bit. So it's good that they extended the opt-out range, but I don't think anyone is left to participate in this experiment after what happened.
Yep.
I find it really just odd, right? And I think there are a couple tweets that really summed it up for me. I saw the drama unfold live on Twitter because I'm obsessed with streamer drama on Twitter, apparently. And a big one was, I've invested hundreds of hours and hundreds of dollars into my alert system. Every different type of bit alert does a different alert for me. And I was thinking people like Bajo and stuff like that. And it's really, really rough. And I just sit there and I keep thinking to myself, fuck. How did no one think of this? They're Twitch ambassadors, people like Bajo. Why did no one think, the people who are closest to us, closest to Twitch, this is going to fuck them, right? Why did they not think about streamers at all? It was built by someone who didn't ever watch a stream, who didn't stream. I don't understand how we can keep having these issues occur when at the end of the day, all it takes is go to one single stream and go, oh, yeah, this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
It's literally at the top of the chat that says the weekly, monthly, yearly, all-time biggest bit cheerers. It's an incentive for people to give bits. And they're kind of yeah, but what about just disabling that leaderboard for the time and just seeing if this new experimental thing we don't know if it's going to work perfectly. That's why we're trying to push it out there. Why can't they simply make it additive? Why did they have to cancel out a whole other form of currency to institute it? As Nick was saying, just make it additive. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, why but from a business point of view, imagine going, we really want to try out, this phone, payment thing. So let's just cancel all cash transactions for the day and make people have to use their phones or their cards instead. Like, you're literally turning away business at that point.
Straight up, absolutely. And so they mentioned that like this Cheercoin thing, so bit badges would be replaced with Cheercoin badges. But it was, and like the same thing with the leaderboard, it'd be like top cheerers would just be the Cheercoins. But what's really funny is, so I went through the FAQ and I was going through all the different things. And one of them was, what about my alerts? Like, that was one of the FAQ questions. And they're like, yeah, no worries. You can absolutely still do alerts for Cheercoins. It's like, you can head over to Streamlabs and set up alerts. So one, screw anyone who uses Stream Elements, like only Streamlabs apparently. Number two, I logged into Streamlabs. There is nothing with Cheercoins. Like, they didn't do anything. It's like they mentioned Streamlabs and didn't tell Streamlabs because they still have the bits section on Streamlabs, but you can still do the granular amounts for bits. Like, there was nothing. I don't know, like, we don't know, like, okay, if I make a 2-bit, like an alert that's for 2 bits, does that equal $2 in Cheercoins in the API? It was not made clear. No one had any clue. So no one had alerts for Cheercoins either, even though after Twitch is like, no, you can totally have alerts. Just go over to Streamlabs. Okay, great.
God, this is just so poorly instituted. And again, it's just not a good look for Twitch. Like, they do good. Like, we know there are people in Twitch who like really care about it. They really do. Especially if I'm from ANZ, because that's who we deal with, on a weekly basis. And they care. And it's so frustrating to think that they have to, because they've got no say in this. It's just kind of like passed down to them, or they don't even know what's happening. And they have to be like, oh yeah, I'm so sorry about this. And God, like, it really is like, it's coming to the point now where people who are starting streaming now have 2 choices. I think it's become such a problem of what Twitch is doing that when you used to start streaming, everybody went to Twitch. I think we can all agree that Twitch was the place to go if you wanted to live stream.
I can agree to that because I have it right here. I have these up ready for you because I assumed this would come up.
Yeah.
A month ago, I asked, if you're on Stream Scheme, if you had to start streaming from scratch tomorrow, what platform would you stream on? 5,000 votes in 24 hours. It had 71% Twitch, 28% YouTube, 1% Facebook. I included it because Facebook had just done a big push. Because if you guys don't know, in the ANZ space, Facebook is partnered with a particular agency, and this agency will not stop on Facebook's behalf trying to make any fucking ANZ partner around 100 viewers exclusive with them. It's hilarious.
Yes.
And then 2 months ago, 4,000 votes. Do you think Twitch will be the future of live streaming? 47% said yes, 53% said no, which is really interesting. Kind of like nice even split. And just generally, you're right, Reeves. Everyone is pushing towards the fact that they would start on Twitch, right? Every poll I've ever done has always said 70% of people, it's Twitch. I would rather be on Twitch. Twitch is good. Twitch is everything, blah, 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 blah. So keep going, sorry.
Oh, no. And I think today, if you're starting from scratch, people will be like, well, actually, YouTube may be better for me. Like I see no kind of gain apart from the fact that Twitch is still going to be number 1 for a few years. I think we can all agree on that. Until YouTube puts out some like really, it becomes just more, I don't know, mainstream that you can live stream on YouTube. It's a gradual thing that Twitch will still be at the top. But it is, I think we can see that I think a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, everybody would have thought that Twitch is untouchable in this space. Like, it is just the be all end all. But now in this past week alone, we're just seeing just the malpractice, if we could even call it that, of its own website, its own platform, that they're doing these things that not only get them out of money, but the streamer out of money, and makes the streamer frustrated that they're like, what is my alternative right now? And as Nick, I'm sure, especially on a subathon day, that makes it 50,000 times worse.
I was like, it was a shame. I was like, I had so many technical difficulties and hiccups on that subathon. I was like crying internally, but we pushed through and still had a really good day, thankfully.
Yeah.
Now remember, we just said 50-50, right? Reeps, you said in the last 2 months. Sorry, you said in the last week.
Yeah.
But 2 months ago, we had 4,000 votes and it was practically 50-50. It was 47-53. I asked again. Okay.
Oh.
I asked again, what platform is the future of live streaming? And I asked that a day ago.
Oh God.
Okay. It has 9,000 votes.
9,000. Okay.
It is 73% YouTube.
Yeah, just completely flipped over.
Not even flipped over. Like it is just destroyed them, right? Because it was 50-50.
Oh, it was, sorry,
and
it was
now it
50-50,
is
yeah.
now it's 72% YouTube. Okay. And in a couple of days, I'm going to ask the one I mentioned a second ago, if you had to start streaming from scratch, where would you pick? And I'm going to see whether or not it changes from the 28 to 71, because 71% was Twitch for where would you start, not for the future of.
Yeah.
And that is just absolutely wild. Like within 2 days, that is what's come back. And I know there's a lot of drama right now, but we'll ask again in 2-3 months,
Yeah.
and we'll see if they still feel that way.
Yeah.
But I have a strong inkling that they will not only still feel that way, but in fact they might feel more confident about it, because boys, we've been quite negative today. We've talked about a lot of negative things. Should we quickly talk about the wild number of things that have been announced on YouTube? Because I think we kind of briefly touched on it last week.
Yes, very briefly.
But even more shit has come out about how good YouTube is trying to be for us. Okay,
So Twitch is like strangling themselves, then YouTube's like, hell, let me help you pull the rope.
Yeah.
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 So a really funny thing happened with this 50-50 split announcement. All these fucking websites keep coming out and being like, well, just a heads up, we do 90-10. We give you 90%. And it's like, okay, well, your Patreon, okay, your coffee, okay, your fan house, okay, we can't live stream publicly to hundreds of people on your website, so shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
But one people who did, if you guys don't know, I've said this many times before, if you want to learn about YouTube, the best thing you can do is follow the actual people who created YouTube and work on YouTube. Todd B, Jake Curtis, all these people. Is it Jake Curtis? I don't know. Someone. All these people. They literally work for YouTube and they announce these things, but they're also cheeky motherfuckers. Okay, so when Twitch announced the 50-50, they were retweeting it and saying things like, just a heads up, we give 70-30 flat to everyone. Just a heads up, you can stream with us right now and get 70-30 and discovery.
Why
you know
wouldn't
what I mean?
you do that though? Like, it's just,
Dude,
why
right.
would you not?
take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And then the very next day, they announced their affiliate program. Now, it's not called the affiliate program. They call it still the YPP fan funding program, which means YouTube partner program fan funding, right? So if anyone doesn't know right now, to be a part of YouTube, you have to have 4,000 partner program. That is, you have to have 4,000 hours of watch time and 1,000 subs. People say that this is a really difficult thing to reach, and I agree it is. But as we talked about earlier in this podcast, it is good that it is difficult for people to be monetized. Because if people become monetized and you can show ads on them, then they become a liability towards the other people. Okay. So having a barrier for entry is really good. Now, they announced 2 different changes to this monetization system. First, they said they were going to bring out that, anyone could join using the shorts, right? And everyone was really excited about that. I don't know if we touched on this last week, but just to clarify again, the change they made to the shorts program is that you can now become monetized on YouTube shorts and get 45% to 55% as long as you get 10 million views on your shorts in 90 days, which is more than 4,000 hours of watch time. So if those 10 million views each watch for 2 seconds, that is more than 4,000 hours of watch time. So that's pretty brutal, right?
Yeah.
That's something like 10,000 to 12,000 short views every single day.
Yeah.
Minimum, right? Minimum. So that's wacky. And then the second thing they announced was their new YPP fan funding program, which means soon they're going to be rolling out the fan funding program to more people who aren't in the partner program. So you don't need to reach those massive 4,000 hours or the 10 million views. You will get the fan funding on a lower difficulty. Why are they doing this if monetizing creators needs to be difficult in order to protect the program? Well, because fan funding isn't through advertisers.
Yes.
Advertisers don't have to care. It doesn't affect the platform whatsoever. If someone has, 1,000 viewers, but they're not monetized for ads, or they make bad content so we can't monetize them for ads, their fans can still fund them just like Patreon, and YouTube will still get a cut of that 30% that they can, right? Which is huge. This is massive for content creators. And I don't think people realize this, but I want to reference this again. I talked to you boys about this on a podcast maybe 2.5 months ago, where I said that I started looking into the membership program. And I had a realization that for every single Twitch sub, the assumption is you're supposed to make $2.50 USD, right? You don't because of taxation, where people pay from and stuff like that. And so really it's roughly between $2 USD that I'll get right per one. On YouTube, I can lower it down. I'll have to find the exact stats again, but I realized I could lower my payment so that people won't have to pay $5 USD on average. They can instead pay something like $4 Australian, and I will still make the exact same amount as if someone was paying $5 USD.
That's crazy.
Right? And that's huge for me, right? Because we're going into a recession right now. So if people want to fund me, right? Because let's be real, people pay $19 a month for Netflix, probably watch my stream more than they do their Netflix subscription, right? Thank you, Iona, for that example.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Legitimately, I could make them so it's only $4 Australian. So that's like $3 US. So I can give them $2 extra off their sub, and I'll still make the exact same amount, get paid in my local currency, so I have PayPal exchange issues. And not to mention the fact that if I miss a stream, those people won't be upset about the fact that they're still paying a membership subscription, because they're not paying just for me to be a live streamer. They're paying a membership for my YouTube videos, for ad-free viewing on them and stuff like that. And they're paying for my shorts, and they're paying for members-only posts. All functionality that Twitch does not have. Now, I'm saying this right now because I know there are several partners in the ANZ region who watch this. And you're going to be like, oh, LJ's talk shit about us being upset about diversifying. I don't think you people understand how powerful a YouTube membership is. It is cheaper, which means you'll get more of them. It is better because you don't have to worry about missing streams. You have weekly videos going out. You can make members only content that makes them special, which, if you don't know, Twitch removed the ability to send things out directly to subs. Can we point that out? Like, that was a huge thing that people loved to do. And now they don't have mailing lists for subs anymore because people were using it for OnlyFans and other things and gambling and stuff. Like, I'm losing my mind at fighting this fight. Like, I'm legitimately losing my mind at the fact that, like, I don't think people realize how fucking good this YPP change is. Like, anyone being able to join that at a lower level, whatever that comes out to be, is so fucking powerful. I can start telling my subs, hey guys, you want to support me? I'd much rather you support me over on the LJ YouTube channel with membership stuff. You know what I mean? Don't subscribe to my Twitch. And people know this. I've said this several times, and I've hinted at this over the last like 6 months. With my move to daytime and my less push on subs, I'm kind of doing it as well, because if I move to streaming just on YouTube, I don't want people subscribed to a dead Twitch channel where Twitch is going to rake in all the profit.
Yeah.
Right? For me not making content anymore. If I stop streaming on Twitch altogether, I'm probably going to ask them to turn off my partner badge, because I don't want people paying $5 a month. Like, because I've still got people who haven't watched my stream in 6 months to a year, who will still be subbed because they want to support me because they enjoyed my content a year ago.
Yeah. Or they've forgotten about it.
Right? And I don't want those people to be supporting a dead Twitch channel and Twitch making money off that. I don't think that's fair. You know, Purple Cliff has this issue right now where thousands of people are doing this. Anyway, essentially, YouTube memberships are rolling out to way more people, right? YouTube super chats, all that stuff is rolling out to way more people. We talked about how the tabs are changing now. So they're going to make it so that when you upload a short, it goes to a shorts tab. When you upload a video, it goes to a video tab. And when you finish live streaming, it goes to a live stream tab. That is so fucking powerful.
It's a portfolio right there. Like, you don't have to go to separate sites. It's all on the one page.
It's not like it's not segmented. It always looked really ugly when you go to you go to a YouTube channel, you click videos, and it's just like this mess of shorts with videos. Because like, obviously you're posting shorts a bit more frequently. So it's like a video, bunch of shorts, video, bunch of shorts. It was a complete mess. Made it super like annoying to for someone to try and find videos. But now this makes so much sense. When someone wants to just binge watch a bunch of your shorts, they can just go to the shorts section. When they want to actually find your videos, they can. If they want to catch up on a live stream, they can. It's just so like, organization makes my brain happy. And so this change is very welcomed.
So welcomed.
Well, here's the thing, right? Another thing I don't think people understand, maybe we talked about it last week, I don't quite remember, to be honest. But this big change, the fact that all three of us are uploading shorts to a secondary channel right now. All of us are uploading mass shorts and seeing which ones work and making note of which ones works, so that when the change comes, we can take all of the shorts that worked and re-upload them to our channel, the main ones, because the reason is that shorts finally actually connect. The only thing we just don't want them crowding our main videos. We want people coming and finding our main videos. So when the new tab comes out, we start dropping shorts, and before you say, no, it won't bother people, because you click one single button on that little short when you upload it, and it says not to notify your subs or post in sub feeds. It'll only go to the shorts feed, which is so good. Holy shit. Thank you, YouTube.
It's making me
Thank
smile
you.
already. Like it's not even institute yet. I'm already smiling because that's the biggest thing is you don't want all those notifications popping up on people's channels. They're like unsub, unsub, unsub. And it's just like, it's out there to get different new people who haven't seen your content. And I tell you what, boys, I think, we know that short form content it's the meta at the moment in terms of what people are watching, what everyone's got on their phone for. They don't want to go through, even watching a 2-minute video is too long for them. They just want like a 30-second type thing. And if we can talk briefly about, we're doing the 30-day TikTok challenge. I got to be honest with you boys, I've missed a single day. I'm going to make up for it by doing 2 TikToks in a day. I hope I can be forgiven.
I ain't missed any,
I
baby.
wasn't even attempting it because I was sick.
Oh, no, dude. But the funny thing is, when it comes to algorithm, it's so interesting to note the differences between YouTube and TikTok. I post the same shorts to both of the channels, TikTok and YouTube, at the exact same time. TikTok, 300 views. Freaking YouTube Shorts, 30,000 views. I don't know what algorithmic magic they're using or how they're pushing it out, but my retention rate on them is so much higher. I don't understand. And TikTok, what is this conundrum that we're going through? Because people are saying you got to post it at a certain time. You got to use certain, music in the background or, use text to speech to get in, knowing that they've edited it in TikTok so that everybody knows it's native or something like that. With YouTube, it's just like, just post it and it'll be seen by eyes. And that to me is just like, hallelujah, because that breaking point of going in there is so high on TikTok, I find. There's so much that you've got to compete against. And even on YouTube, but YouTube somehow does it better. I don't understand it.
So I've been uploading the exact same stuff every single day, running tests on both platforms. And the thing I've learned about TikTok is there are 3 rules to TikTok, okay? First, your title and your bio, at least as far as I've seen, means fucking nothing. Your hashtags, maybe. You got to pick good hashtags. I haven't quite been able to figure that out yet.
Yeah.
But the major rule on TikTok is the very first frame needs to hook people and promise them something, okay? It can't, if you lose people too early or it's not good enough, it just does not go anywhere, right? At all, right? The second is the fact that one of the big problems is the fact that you have to really niche down hard onto TikTok. Like you can't upload a different clip of a different game every single day. And I've noticed that if I upload the same game 3 days in a row, the third or second day will usually perform much better. And you can see that in my upload from today. Yesterday, I uploaded Who's That Pokemon, which is a clip from my latest YouTube video, which I love, which is Claire guessing the names of Pokemon. She's never played or seen it. So I was like showing her Squirtles and stuff like that. And it got 3,000 views. That's awesome. I'm really happy with that. I personally consider anything less than 300 views isn't, your TikTok got like 2 views, 10, right?
Yeah.
Like 300 is testing the algorithm. But then I uploaded today, Who's That Pokemon? And it's one of hers doing Beedrill, 80,000 views.
Wow.
Man.
Okay. 80,000. And it's because if you just do back to back to back with the same kind of style. And that's why I've got like 5 more posts about Who's That Pokemon from that video that'll go out. But here's the thing, right? Over on Shorts, and most of my stuff is done pretty average in my personal belief, right? First one was 1,500. Second one got 9,000 views, which is me killing a shiny Pokemon. 600, 2K, 600, 3K, 700, 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, and 83, right? And then I'll upload today as well. But essentially, the way I look at it, TikTok, way harsher. You have to meet their culture. You have to follow their humor. You have to be a part of their thing. And you got to niche so much harder. Shorts, it's all about that title, to be honest. Like, if your title and your SEO on it gives them enough information to know who it should go out to, they'll just send it out to the Shorts feed instantly to those people. And if you like have a good enough title and a good enough piece of content, it'll just push.
Yeah.
Like I uploaded one that's just called Drinking 2.2 million Scoville hot sauce, 30,000 views in 2 days.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere.
It just pumped it.
I've noticed the same sort of like platform inconsistency as well. It's like something will do really well on TikTok and then just not perform at all on Shorts. And I've noticed a lot in general, things have been performing a lot better on TikTok. But then sometimes like a short, like the same video on Shorts will perform really well, but then can go completely nowhere on TikTok.
Yeah.
And like, and I try to, and I try, like for every single shorts that TikTok we put out, I always try to make the title like as engaging as possible. And we try to, do those good common practices of making the first like couple seconds and try to hook people as much as possible. Right. And we do that as much as we can, but yeah, some things will just do really well on TikTok and won't on Shorts and vice versa. I'm still trying to figure out exactly where that magic source is and why each one is doing better or worse. Like I remember, this going back months ago, a random Minecraft clip from a stream like a year ago just exploded and got 154,000 views over the span of like a few days. And I was just like, I mean, it was a funny clip, but yeah, like it's wild.
I think it's really, really interesting. Now, one of the things that I've been testing recently as well with Shorts is the fact that I've started putting on the end of them full video in the comments if it links back to a video on my main channel, and I'm seeing really good signals. Like this is a tough one, right? Telling people to go from a short to the comment section, to click a comment, to go to another channel, to watch a video. That is hard. That is a brutal thing to ask of people. But it's working. Like, this is a side channel, right? So I'm really struggling like to push people across it. But like, say the answering every question or drinking hot sauce video, I pushed that on a TikTok, on a short. It had 931 views when the short went live, the main video. And now that the short has stopped going, it is sitting at 1,100. So it's gotten roughly 200-ish, right? Roughly views. But it's also, of those 200 views, gone up by 30 hours of watch time or something wacky, right? Which is awesome. And it's gone from having 24 subs to having 34 subs from it, which means 10 new subs came in. So you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, so that sucks, LJ. That was 23,000 views. And those 23,000 views converted over to what, 200 people? Yeah. That's fucking sick, dude. When you're a brand new channel and you can upload shorts, you right now listening to this, you could literally upload a short that is super engaging, super clicky, super good, right? And have the end, full video in the comments. But fuck, you could upload 8 different parts of that video, edited down for short format content with that. And if all of them or even one of them gets 20,000, that's 200 views on a brand new channel.
Yep. Straight out.
Every single person on the planet I know who's starting a new YouTube channel would kill for 200 views, 10 new subs, and 20, 30 hours of watch time.
I would. Yeah.
And you know what? That is the power of all of that being on one platform, right?
Yeah.
Doing the same thing on TikTok.
They would not have come to Twitch.
Yeah, no.
Like between channels, rough, but they would not have come to Twitch.
Yeah, absolutely. Like just getting conversion from TikTok to anywhere else is extremely hard because people don't, like, unless they've seen you, like your TikToks like a bunch, and then that you really capture that person. They're like, okay, I'll go check out this person on Twitch, right? But that takes a lot of time and a lot of luck to like get in front of that same person for them to walk over and actually and like you enough. Like maybe they just like seeing your clips and they have no interest of seeing your live stream, right? So getting that conversion over, super, super difficult. But on YouTube, they don't have to go to a different platform that they may or may not have an account on, like it's just there. People know how to use YouTube. Like it's like, as we've said multiple times over the course of this whole podcast, YouTube is the second largest search engine. Everyone and their mothers has a YouTube account pretty much. So the fact that like they can stay in the app, if they're on their phone, for example, they can click a couple buttons and then immediately be taking over to the channel where they can subscribe or watch the full video. Like, and they're like, okay, cool, I'm already on my phone. Like, I actually do want to watch the full video now.
Yeah.
There's no, like, there's so much less friction. So like, it makes sense. And
it's about navigation, isn't it? I find that in anything, it's about navigation. If you make it hard or difficult or whatever it is to even click a follow button, people will get confused because it's a completely new website for them. If you go to Twitch for the first time, I think you're going to have a bit of a shock in terms of, so I click on this person's channel and then, there's this chat on the right, but how do I actually
Why does
follow?
everyone keep writing KEKW? What is the word
what's
KE?
going on here?
What does that mean?
What's a subscription over a follow? Like it takes time. Well, with YouTube, I feel like because one, it's been ingrained in kids since a very young age, and now, we're all grown up, or people like us who've just, had YouTube since its inception. We just know it, right? We know exactly what it is. Twitch doesn't have that. Twitch is still very much a new kind of platform for a lot of people. So,
it didn't reach mainstream till pandemic,
exactly,
right? Like, until that stuff went out.
Exactly. And I wanted to ask, with these new tabs that are coming in, they say that it's going to be instituted in America's fall. Is that right? When did they say it was going to be instituted?
Oh, so the changes to tabs,
Yep.
which I want to add one more thing to that in a second as well. They said it's going to come fall. So we're currently in fall,
Yep.
but fall doesn't end until December.
Yep.
So it could be any time in the next 2.5 months, to be honest. But one thing that I really want to add to this, and I don't know if I mentioned it last week, I apologize I keep saying that, but we really briefly touched on it because a lot of these features hadn't been fully announced.
Yep.
So I want to make sure I give people a clear, concise package, especially because today's today's podcast, clickbait, is going to be about this again. One of the big things that's changing that I think is huge is the fact that we no longer have to unlist our YouTube streams. Now, if you guys don't know how it works, is that people say once you're monetized, the algorithm, it's not going to change. It's going to treat you the same. But let's be real, once you're monetized, YouTube makes money off you, right? That's how it is.
Exactly. They want to push those videos a little bit more.
Come on, you know? Anyway, essentially, but here's the thing, right? You want to get monetized. One of the most powerful things you can do is actually go live. If you're a gaming channel, like a lot of the people listening to this are, because when you go live, say you have 10 average viewers and you go live for 5 hours, if those average viewers, watch those 10 average viewers, not every single one will be there, but let's pretend like you have 10 people at all times watching, right? Maybe one leaves, one comes back, but you have 10 hours of all time. And you go live for 5 hours. That's 50 hours of watch time. Now, that goes towards your monetization as long as you don't unlist the stream afterwards. Right now, all we do is unlist and put them in playlists. Dude, it's going to be so fucking good, right? Because you need a minimum of 333 hours of watch time in a month to get monetized within a year. So that goes to 4,000 hours, so 333 per one, right? It's going to be so much easier if you go live to like 15, 20 people that you pinged from your Discord or from wherever you are, and you do a 4 or 5 hour stream, and those people give you 50 to 70 hours of watch time, and that's just in one day, and you can do that 3 times a week, meaning you're getting like up to 200 hours just that per week, right? You'll be monetized so fucking quickly if you're not unlisting those, and you won't need to unlist those anymore because you'll be able to fucking put them on their own tab and it won't be a big deal, right? I don't think people understand how amazing this is because we've always said the same thing. Go live, stream, edit that into a VOD, take parts of that, edit that into a YouTube video, take parts of that video, turn it into TikToks and Shorts, right? That is the funnel. But now that funnel is literally just built into YouTube. You're not putting it across 3 different social platforms. You're able to literally go live, do the stream, get cheaper memberships, keep people involved in it, turn it into a video for them.
They can clip it for you.
They can clip it for you. You can turn it into shorts as well. They're all on the same platform. They all lead into each other. And it just is there. It works. Now, one thing I will say, because no one else is saying it, when I tell people to diversify, I'm not saying that because I think people should move to YouTube entirely. When I say diversify, I mean in case it shits the bed. So I will say this right now. Even if we all move to YouTube and it's perfect and amazing and we're all doing it, I still want you all to diversify, okay? Because YouTube might shit the bed. So if you can, build on other platforms as well. Make a Patreon. Make a place where you personally can exist and have control over it. Because at the end of the day, platforms do not care about us. The only thing we control is what we upload and where we upload it. Okay? And that means that platforms could have an adpocalypse. OnlyFans could ban all adult content again. Twitch could say, you know what, fuck yes, 40% sub splits for you instead. We don't know, and they do not care, and they don't even have any control themselves, to be entirely honest. Advertisers can just shit on them whenever they want. So diversify if you're listening to this, not just diversify from Twitch, diversify from every platform.
Yeah, a lot of people after like the crap storm of this past like week and a half are all looking into, I've been seeing a lot of people, and even myself, like I'm looking into options for like secondary funding platforms like Patreon and Ko-Fi and things like that. And I've just literally been spending some time, brainstorming that if I set up a side platform like this, what is my value proposition to people, to support me on this platform? Apart from the general fact that, my audience can support me and give me a higher cut of what they're actually paying rather than a 50-50 split, which is for a lot of people just enough for them to be like, absolutely, like I want to support you and you're going to get a better split. But realistically, you need to offer a good value proposition. Like you need to incentivize these side platforms and give people a good reason to do so. And I think a lot of people in that same boat, they're looking into setting up a Patreon and Ko-Fi and thinking what they can offer on these side platforms. However, for those that haven't diversified and have only been streaming, you're not really going to have much to offer.
No, that's a big one. You won't. And I don't know. I guess part of me I is a little bit frustrated because I've somehow become a small, like not a real one, but a few people have kind of started making me and people who have been saying to diversify out to be a villain. Like the tweets saying don't rub it in our face and stuff like that. I feel like they're so out of touch. Like I feel like it's like you can't say that people are rubbing it in your face. They're saying we're saying it because you should have been doing this for 2 years now.
Yeah.
Right? You shouldn't be upset about the fact that, and also nothing has changed for most of these people, right? All it is that they've been told by Twitch, hey, even if you make it big, you're not getting 70-30.
Yeah.
But this shouldn't be the eye-opener that it is. Because you can't fund yourself entirely on Twitch, even with a 70-30. Because A, that means you honestly believe that you're the main character. You're going to get big enough to maintain thousands of subs every single month and get 70-30, and that's your life's going to be a dream.
Yeah.
Which that is already huge wishful thinking. And then 2, you believe that your content and everything you do on that platform is honestly worthy of being funded entirely by your viewers at $5 per viewer a month to you, and that is just how it is.
Yeah, I also want to clarify for everyone watching and listening, the reason why we're sort of talking about the possibility of switching and why so many people are switching, but might be switching themselves, is not because of like the sub split fiasco and things like that. It's because that's not good in itself, but YouTube is now at the point where they're offering a better service. They're offering a better value.
That's probably the accurate. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Like it's not just like also people say that Twitch has a better live streaming service, but it's not.
No.
It's just inherently not. It has better monetization. Be honest. Like if people who say Twitch has a better live streaming service, it's not. You just have a more fun community there because you all post the same memes and it has more monetization features for you. If you actually wanted your live stream to be the highest possible quality, YouTube has had that for a very long time.
1440p.
You can skip. Yeah,
Everything.
you can skip forward and backwards. You can have huge uncapped bit rates practically. You know, they've got way better servers. Technically, they're better at sending it out to the right people. Like, it's already been a lot better for a live streaming service. The main problem it's had is the fact that it just didn't have the culture around it and it didn't have monetization around it. But they're building those things. And I'm starting to think that and I said this last week, I said this the week before, I'm starting to think that the fact that YouTube doesn't have the same culture as Twitch is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because it means that you can build your own community and your own culture without the stress of having to live up to the expectations of the other people who are streaming around you. And it's not about competition anymore because people come to your YouTube channel for you.
Yeah, that's right. That's very true. It's just this thing that I believe that when people say, diversify, and they're like, oh, we've heard it all before. A lot of people that say we've heard it all before are not diversifying. And they feel that because of that, that they should just be able to make a living off of the one platform. And, in our idealistic world, we should only be able to work for one company and make a living. But we're not in a company where we're employed by them. We're in a company where we're hiring a space on their platform to show what we're capable of, whether that's entertainment, crafts, advice, whatever it is. And the fact that you now have that kind of freedom to go to all these platforms and go, this is the exact same content and I'm going to throw it out to all different platforms and get more eyes on it because we're now allowed to do that. Like with the whole Twitch, you can now stream on TikTok, things like that. That's really cool. And that was a great step for Twitch to do, to go, as we said, we're a side piece. We're not going to be your whole business anymore. And to me, that's fantastic because I know the lines in the sand. I know exactly what I have to do. And the fact that I can now do content, like we said, about shorts, YouTube shorts, for me to get followers on Twitch, as LJ, as Nick said, you've got to be active. If you're not active, nobody's going to follow your channel, right? And even when you do go live, it's so hard to get followers because people have to find you first. When it comes to YouTube, it's written into the SEO. The only way that you're into the SEO of Twitch is 1, if you're on the front page, 2, if you're in the recommended feed and hopefully people see it, or 3, if people actually Google your username into Google itself and click on your Twitch channel, right? Those are the 3 modes of discoverability on Twitch itself. But outside,
when the recommended feed, by the way, to clarify, is be longer, right? That's actually, it's been proven that the recommended feed will recommend you more if you stream for longer hours in the same time slot every single time. Because the algo goes, we'll put you in recommended because we know you're not ending soon.
Yes.
If they're like, oh, this guy, he always goes live for 5 hours, so we'll give him recommended for this time slot for these 5 hours because he's always consistent. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, no, that's all I'm saying is even when you do go live, I think people will think, oh, well, I'll just keep doing this every time and I'll get a lot of followers. It is very hard to get followers on Twitch because 1, People are not like, oh, the first thing I got to do when joining a stream is to follow. And two, they're usually just there to see the game or your personality, and then they forget to follow, or they simply don't want to follow because they've got their people who they go to regularly. It very much is these kind of different communities. And once you're a part of a community, you usually don't want to split off from it, I find. You know, like, and you can see that when it comes to raids. If you get a big old raid, you're like, yes. And people follow you and you're like, yes. Usually the next day you'll see that people drop off. They'll either unfollow, it was the hype moment, whatever it is. It's very hard to indoctrinate. I shouldn't say indoctrinate, but I'm going to say indoctrinate yourself into a community. While on YouTube, I don't think that people have that community hive mind. They're there for the content. They're literally, like, this gives me worth because I'm learning about this or I'm entertained by this. Well, with Twitch, it's very much like I want to be part of a community, not so much for the content. Maybe I'm wrong there. Let me know.
I also feel like on the same topic, right? Because you said that the people who are upset saying we've heard it all before, we know have to diversify. They're not diversifying, right? Which is inherently just true, right? Like the reason they're saying that is because they're not. But I maybe this is already stepping in hot water, but I saw a few tweets that was saying that telling people to diversify is being ableist, okay? Which is interesting. It's an interesting take. And they mentioned that the fact that saying that is being ableist against people with ADHD. It's saying that against people on the autism spectrum, because a lot of these people, in their eyes, struggle to work on multiple platforms. Okay? And I thought personally that was really, really like harsh.
Yeah.
I thought that was being really, really, really harsh on people trying to give best practices, and also on the people who are neurodivergent. And I wanted to get your opinion on this, Nick, right? So Nick, you have diagnosed ADHD, if that's correct, and you've had it your whole life. No, not diagnosed, but you've had ADHD your whole life. How do you feel? Like, legitimately, how do you feel about the concept of people using your ADHD as a way to say that they shouldn't be held to the same standard? I don't know. I don't understand the concept of it. I don't know.
It's a poor excuse. Like, whether, like, the thing is, there's a difference between what you should do and what you're struggling to do. And what I'm hearing from what you're saying is that they're struggling to do this, so therefore they're using it as an excuse to saying they shouldn't have to do this. But the reality is, I only got properly diagnosed in November. But up until that point, I really struggled. So, and that's why live streaming was something that I could manage, because like I could, in my bursts of like energy and hyper focus, I could, work on my channel and do things like that. But it was really tough to unmedicated to like be able to focus myself and do a lot of this other diversifying things, putting YouTube videos out and things like that. And that's a big reason why, I barely uploaded to the tech channel, and I barely was able to do anything for like my main YouTube channel back when it was like a variety thing. Same with like, TikToks as well. Like I really just struggled to actually do it. I knew that it was the best practice. I knew that I needed to do those things, but it was tough. But by no means did I ever think for a second where I'm like, no, I shouldn't have to do all these things. It was just more frustrating for me because I wanted to do these things. I knew that if I wanted to go further, if I wanted to grow, I need to do a lot of these other things. It was just a really struggle to do it on my own. And then once I managed to, and some people will want to be medicated, some people don't. Everyone finds their own processes to go about things, and that's the big thing. It's like medication helps a lot, but it's also you need to find routines and ways to work around your own neurodiversity, because everyone's just a little bit different.
Right.
But so I basically, when I sort of started realizing, like for a lot of my life, I thought I was just like, I'm like, something's wrong with me. Like I can't focus. Am I lazy? Am I not interested in anything? I couldn't understand myself. And that was also a big demotivator for me as well. And I really struggled with that. And then when I, around sort of like the 2019-ish, like late 2019, 2020, that's when I kind of started on that journey of like figuring out, do I actually have ADHD? And once I did more research, I was realizing I line up with so much of this. So much is relatable, and I deal with it on a daily basis. Like that. Just a quick clarification. ADHD symptoms, everybody can experience them. The difference between actually having it and not is that you deal with them on a daily basis and regularly.
Okay.
So like everyone will have moments of hyperfocus. Everyone will have moments of distraction and things like that. But if you deal with them super regularly on a daily basis, that's a telling sign. But I'm not trying to be a professional here, just clarifying that. But
I think you have the exact same level, if not more, experience with this than people out there saying the opposite side of things.
That's what I wanted to bring up is like, why are they saying that for people who can easily speak for themselves? Because it's not like they're the ambassadors for people who have those neurodivergent tendencies. But sorry, continue on there.
Yeah. So what I did, and I had to develop my own ways of working through things. And I did so many different stuff. That's why, like, I started, trying to do the notebook thing. This was also a challenge for me as well, because it was like the idea of like remembering this and learning how to break things down. But at the end of the day, everyone, you really, you have to put that time and effort into figuring out, okay, I stream, but I need to do these other things. So I know you need to literally break them down. It's like, okay, I want to do a video and I want to do a TikTok. And it's really easy to get overwhelmed, even for just general people. It's easy to get overwhelmed by the amount of things you have to do on other platforms, like, everything that goes into making a YouTube video and same with like a TikTok and things like that. But yeah, to say that they shouldn't have to do this and say that it's ableist, I think is honestly complete bullshit, because it's not ableist. This is just the fact of content creation. And yeah, you might have it's a handicap to be neurodiverse, right? But at the same time, it can be an advantage. Well, the shortcomings of neurodiversity can also be advantages. Like, you're able to, hyperfocus in a lot of cases and get things done. And they also say that, people who are neurodiverse also are a lot more creative as well. So you're like, and which lines up with me. Like, I'm constantly coming up with like ideas. I'll mention things to other people and things like that. Rather than that, I think they're just focusing on the wrong reasons, and they're just in this negative mindset. And it really comes down to look at what you can do. Understand that what thing's going to be tougher, and then they just need to figure out how they can circumvent that, and then use, understand themselves, and then use some things to their advantage.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's really interesting, that because I don't know enough about it. My partner specializes in a lot of this stuff with like early intervention and stuff like that. I won't go too into it, don't want to dox or anything like that. And like when she talks to me about it, it's so interesting to hear about how everyone's experience is completely different. But like one of the things that I really struggle with is that I inherently, in the space that I am in, is that I want to tell people that if you put enough effort and time in, anyone can be successful, right? But then I also understand that there's privilege involved. And I say this in a lot of my videos, that like there are certain people like myself who have been privileged in certain ways, right? I don't talk on Stream Scheme about all the ways that I've struggled, right? But because of that, I find it really interesting, because I get a lot of people commenting things like, oh, you've got all these opportunities. I don't have these. I can only stream from Xbox. Or what's really interesting is, one thing I say to people is record yourself for 10 minutes every single day. If you want to become a better speaker, listen back to it the next day, and then record yourself again for 10 minutes right away. Never plan anything, just do it every single day, right? And when I say that, it's really interesting, because I always get absolutely lambasted in the comments by people telling me like, why would you assume that why would you say we have to do this when we've got anxiety? When I don't like the sound of my own voice, when I don't like this or this and this and this. And it's super interesting to me, because I'm sat there, I'm thinking to myself, like, if I just said in this video that like I've suffered from like acute anxiety disorder, where it took me 3 weeks to push go live on this video, where my entire life, like sometimes I go out to eat at a restaurant and I break down to the tears and have to leave because I can't order. Like if I say these things, right? Like, would people no longer comment that? It's like, no, probably not, to be entirely honest. And I find it really frustrating personally. Like, I can't say whether or not what I'm saying is ableist towards ADHD and neurodivergent in those regards, right? But as someone who has my own personal diagnosed anxiety disorder, who will always struggle with that, right? I find it very frustrating when people use anxiety as an excuse of why they're not successful, because I understand the limitations it has, but I don't like when, and there are times where I've done that, where I've said to myself, I'd be more successful if I was just more confident. It's my anxiety holding me back. And I have to shut myself down and go, no, that I can't act like that. I can understand my limitation, understand the things that scare me, but I can't use that as a reason as to why I'm not growing, because that would be insulting to everyone out there who has climbed above the thing that holds them back and has succeeded from that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, personally, I find it frustrating in my regard when I see people use something that I've dealt with as a reason why they're not being successful.
Yeah.
I'd like to quickly just say that I think it's also the power of words and environment, where let's just say that you're one of those people who listens to those online and go, you're being ableist by saying that you should diversify, right? If I had somebody tell me that, and that's my only source of environment and words coming in is like, you shouldn't have to diversify, you should just be able to make a living off of one platform. Then to me, I get those, receive those receptors. And then I'm like, okay, I've been given I've been given an approval by this person not to do more work because I should just be able to live off the one platform. Great. So then I don't worry about it, right? But then I've got another person over here saying you should diversify even if you do have, conditions or whatever it is that you deal with. Then I should be like to myself, oh, I've got an approval from this person. Yeah, maybe I should do more. So if you strip away those two factors of 50-50, right? And I say to you, what do you think will get you more recognition and eyes on you? Going on one platform or going on many? Right? Forget all the ableist stuff. Forget everything else. What do you think the answer will be? I think you know. Going on more platforms will get you more eyes on you. So simply, if you break it down to that kind of degree, you have to then take accountability of what you're going to do. Like we all have our neuroses. I've suffered from depression, anxiety, everything. I've been on medication. We all have our own stories. But you know what? People don't care about that because, again, they're dealing with their own stuff. You're dealing with your own stuff. You don't want that baggage of another person or to give your baggage to another person. Hence, you've got to account for yourself. There are so many times that I have to go out and do like public speaking, as you said, LJ, even just going to I remember having a breakdown going to see a movie because I was just so panicked and nervous of going out with my friends and I felt sick and I was just like, I can't do it. So I made an excuse not to go, right? And I spent the whole day at home, right? Who cares at the end of the day? Because that's me, that's my fare to deal with. But when it comes to actual content creation, we know that diversifying is exactly what you have to do until you find your niche. Yes, you can look at big examples like PewDiePie and they only go on YouTube, say. Yeah, they've made it. They don't have to do anymore. They are living life because they've got the money. For us who are trying to make it up to that degree, we have to explore those different avenues. And to say that you can only be on one platform for whatever reason, I think is a very narrow-minded viewpoint, and you should not be able to speak for everyone apart from yourself.
Yeah.
I found the whole conversation really, really interesting and really, really rough, to be honest, as well. I was a little bit frustrated, and I was very, very... I wanted to talk to you about it, Nick, on DMs. I wanted to message you, but I also thought it could be a really interesting conversation because I actually know for a fact that there are several people who are regular listeners of the pod who are all have their own diagnosed ADHD, and every time it comes up, they're very thankful that we discuss it here. And I was like, okay, I'm going to save this. I'm going to talk to Nick.
I'm glad, yeah.
Because I find, I don't know, I just find it really, really rough. And maybe to dial it down a much less intense version of it, right? This is the same as console streaming, right? People say, I can't do any of the tips you've given me because I'm a console streamer. What do I do? And it's like, I find myself having to say, well, the exact same thing that I said is what you have to do. The fact that you only have a console doesn't change what is best practices, doesn't change what is required. It doesn't change what viewers want. At the end of the day, viewers just want good content.
Yeah.
That's it. They're not gonna sit there and go, I'm going to click on this guy. Oh, this content is terrible. It's trash. Oh, you're only on console? That's okay. Then I'm happy to sit here.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying this to be mean though. I wish that was the case. It would be so much easier. We'd all grow. But the sad fact is that influencers, content creation, streaming, it is so unfair, brutal, and a massive kick in the nuts.
Yeah.
Right? And if you don't have and just because you're being held back by stuff, it's not like you can say, well, all these best practices, I can't do them. What do I do instead? It's no, those are the same things you have to do. You just have to find a way to do it. It sucks, but you just have to work harder than other people.
Yeah.
To follow up on that, it's really comes down to mindset. If you're like, okay, so you want to do this thing, right? You want to get into content creation, okay, but you have certain limitations. And we keep hearing is just people who complain rather than actually figure out how much they're able to do and maybe research solutions, research what they can do to improve, like to use that, work within their limitations to the maximum capacity. They just complain about it and then just continue doing the same thing and expecting to go somewhere. For those that don't know my history with live streaming, I live streamed for just about 4 years with 0.7 upload. Because that's all my internet allowed. I tried to do YouTube at the beginning because I enjoyed, recording videos and kind of, and then putting it up. And I kind of enjoyed that editing process. And because being heavily influenced by people like Markiplier and Jacksepticeye. And again, undiagnosed ADHD all those years ago, I found it really I was doing it. I was doing it quite consistently, right? But I had a really low powered laptop at the time, so I left YouTube in the dust because it was really hard to record and play something. It was a pain to edit on it, and it took me ages. It took me like 24 hours just to upload a 1 gigabyte video. So I left in the dust, and then that's kind of when I later on discovered live streaming, and I built myself a good PC. And immediately I realized my limitation was internet. But I didn't let that stop me. As we know, a lot of people watch Twitch on their mobile. A lot of people watch Twitch as as half a window on their screen. No one is watching a stream. Well, not say no one, but the vast majority are not watching a stream on a full screen, monitor. Barely any.
Let alone watching.
Yeah.
They listen.
Yeah.
Most of it,
and
right?
a lot of it is listening, right? And that's a big reason as well. If you can listen to something, right, you're able to watch something that's in a lower resolution, which is why for years, we've said it, and other people on YouTube tutorials have said it, that audio comes first. If you don't have good, people can't, if it's not listenable, then it's not going to be watchable. So what I did, I just had a C920 webcam, and I could my bit rate was 400, 500, and I was streaming at 360p. Sometimes I'd get a little bit spicy and stream at 392p.
Hold on,
yeah.
Nick. Come on now. Come on.
Oh, that's it.
There's children listening. Come on.
But I refused. I gave it a shot. I realized I loved it, and I continued. And I worked within the bounds of what I had. So I streamed, I did single player games, and I did a lot of Terraria and Minecraft. Those games are already pixelated, so extra pixels ain't gonna make a difference.
Smart.
All right.
Literally, when my net shit itself, right, and I couldn't play Arceus or Elden Ring or anything like that, I played Minecraft for a good 2 months, purely because when the bitrate tanked to 1,000, nobody noticed.
It's literally is.
My cam, I would stay really still, so the pixels wouldn't need to be updated. And Minecraft already looked blocky, so we were good.
That's
you were
genius.
set. Exactly. That's it. You work around the limitations. And look, I have a mindset, and I just have the kind of personality where I hate to be defeated. If I want to do something, my golly, am I going to freaking do whatever it takes to try and do what I want to do in the best way possible within my means and limitations. And that's what I did. So for almost 4 years, I streamed at that resolution, at that upload, and I streamed single player games that I could, easily run. And then I put as much processing power as possible to making, the pixelation as less as possible. And I invested in a microphone, right? As I started off with a blue snowball, I mentioned previously, like my, a lot of
Not
early
an endorsement, by the way.
not an endorsement. That it was $99. So that was why I bought it. But I mentioned early on that like I managed to go to like the original Razer Siren because viewers helped me upgrade that audio. And whenever I saved up some money, it went to audio. I eventually I bought an AT 2020 and I had it going into a
good mic.
Yeah.
That's dude, you know what's weird? I never recommend condenser microphones, but like, cause they're usually pricey, but the AT 2020 is such a like sexy sounding condenser.
Very good.
Like you put that up to anyone, if you have a decently treated room, even if you just throw a little bit of noise reduct on it, like just if you don't have a treated room, that mic, I fucking love the AT 2020.
Brilliant.
If the AT 2020 worked with my Go XLR, I would be using that in a heartbeat, man. That was
I loved the AT 2020, and I had it going into a Roland VT3, which for anyone who doesn't know what this is, before the Go XLR existed, before software, voice mod, and things like that, you literally had a box that was basically the same size as a full size Go XLR, and its only job was to do voice effects. Like that's it. And that's what I did. Like I saved up. I bought the Roland and the AT 2020, and I kept that setup for years. And like that's what I did. And so I made sure I had good audio. And what I accomplished streaming, and everyone would hear me saying this, be like, he streamed at 360p for all those years. I bet he got nowhere. I got to 4,000 followers and a 20 viewer average on Twitch.
which is more than what people today can get with like $10,000 worth of equipment.
Yep. So when people make these excuses, right, it comes down to mindset. You're only limited by yourself, right? Like if you truly believe, and you work on yourself and you truly believe that you're putting out something of value, then people will see that value. But if you're if you're streaming on console and then your entire time you're thinking, man, this sucks. I hate that I can't I can't stream like these other streamers, or I can't do this and that. That's going to come through in your own content, and then people are not going to want to watch because you're not in it. Your heart's not in it. But it's like,
what's really interesting, right? You say that. What's really interesting about that is that I feel like in this day and age, there are so many more tools for someone who's at a disadvantage like yourself than there was when you started, right?
Yeah.
And like Reeps, you mentioned Join Combo earlier, which is something that we're not using anymore for our TikToks and stuff. But it's something that if you're beginning and getting into that is super powerful, right? Like say you're a console streamer, or say you can't really, you can't edit, right? You go live, you stream for 3 hours, and you keep hitting that little clip button every time something sort of funny happens, right? You know what I mean? You end stream, you got 20, 30 clips there that are automatic, or if you've already got Join Combo linked up, that automatically are imported to Join Combo. You click, convert them over, send them directly to Short, send them directly to whatever. Heck, if you want to get fancy, you can use Join Combo's built-in automatic subtitling, right? They've got automatic, you can throw in images, you can do your own captions, you can do all sorts of stuff. And like, we didn't have that.
no.
It's like okay, what do I do? It's like I had someone comment on my video about TikTok growth, right, saying, "Oh, that's all well and good, but I can't do this because I can't edit." And I was like, I know for a fact you've given up before it's even started, because my TikTok video is only about Join Combo and doing this entirely through a web browser. Like, and I think you're right. It's the mindset. It's giving up instantly rather than being like, okay, these are my limitations. What can I do instead?
I wanted to bring that up as well. I think a lot of people who go, you shouldn't diversify or anything like that. I think it comes from a few places, but this is the main place. I think that they've got enough of what they believe is a good following on, let's just say Twitch, that they're saying don't diversify. I got a good enough following. I put in a lot of hard yards to get to where I am. And the thought of having to redo that all, pushing like a boulder up a hill until it like kind of plateaus or finally goes downhill, is too hard for me. So this to me, and I'm going to say it, I don't give a crap, is just you're basically deflecting. You're deflecting from the fact that you need to do more work. And, come at me. Well, whatever. You have to. Well, I'm still learning TikTok. I've got 1,500 followers. It's so hard for me to get anything to pop off. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand it. But you goddamn better believe that I'm still trying to learn, I'm not going to be like give up on it because I know how useful a tool it will be. And once you hit that rhythm, once you learn exactly what they're looking for, as LJ has said, then you can just do it. You know what I mean? You can actually just keep going and you can like, finally, it's plateaued off. I can go downhill now. Just like Twitch, just like YouTube. There's always going to be this huge learning curve when you start off on a new platform. And people are too scared or they don't want to do the work and hence they make excuses not to do it. So you know what? Just do it, all right? Because you are going to be left behind if anything happens. If Twitch goes downhill and you're going to be like still preaching Twitch's values, too bad because no one's going to listen.
Yeah. Well, look, it's scary. The premise of like the idea of switching platforms is scary, but we're not saying that you should just leave Twitch behind and just go purely into YouTube. I mean, you can if you want to, but like especially with the changes, like for partners specifically, again for affiliates it hasn't changed, and if you're not an affiliate, it doesn't matter. You can go and live stream on YouTube, right? But you can't just purely just live stream on Twitch and YouTube in alternate days. It's not gonna work like that. You do have to do the other things. Like we get it. It's scary. Like even like I'm sure like even for me, the idea of completely leaving Twitch behind and moving to YouTube, like you know, for live streaming and everything, like it's a scary thing to think about because, like Reap said, like you've put all this hard work, you've established yourself, right? And then the thought of starting over is really, really scary. But you, at least you know, Twitch has said we're a side piece, right? So if you're already established on Twitch, then Twitch can become your backup. You can go to YouTube. You can experiment with what kind of content you want to make on YouTube. You know, start making videos, do a live stream here and there, put out some shorts. Like you can start to build it up. And then, you know, like YouTube is building the tools where all of those things will be linked. You can put a video out, right? Let's say we'll use Cult of the Lamb example, right? Let's say you've done a video on Cult of the Lamb. Then you're live streaming Cult of the Lamb. Someone ends up finding that live stream and you're like, hey, I did this video doing this thing. Go check it out. They go check out the video. Vice versa. While you're live, someone's finding that Cult of the Lamb video, and then they realize, oh, this person's funny and they're live right now. I'm gonna click their video and go.
It's got a little red circle around your profile picture while they're watching a video that says live, and you can click it and go straight to it. Right?
Just go.
You're right, Nick. 100%. Like, and also, you're saying all of this right after I've literally just finished explaining the fact that while having separate YouTube channels, I'm seeing connection between shorts, right? A manual connection between shorts, whereas it's actually you're explaining the automatic concept behind it. And here's the thing, right? Here's the thing that's going to frustrate me the most about this whole thing is you listening this, right? I'm looking at you right now. You know all this.
Yeah.
We're fucking repeating ourselves. We've been saying this since day one of the podcast. When Ludwig Moved was the very first podcast we did, and we shipped and pushed all of this information and said this is what all of it was, right? And at the same time, all of us started taking action to start doing these things. You saw me start my new channel and hire an editor. You saw me start doing TikToks. You saw all of us start making steps to start doing this and explain how it is detrimental. You can watch every podcast on this back to back to back to back to back to back. And I'm going to tell you what, when you do, you'll realize that we're actually shockingly right sometimes. Just sometimes.
Sometimes.
Not
all right?
all the time,
At least
but
once.
sometimes. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I didn't actually know this, and I'm not tooting our own horn. This was from two different commenters. Two different commenters went back and they were catching up. One of them was Blackiest, who's a part of the community, so I know I can say him. He said, wow, watching this back, I'm shocked about how right you guys were about everything. And I said, oh, what in particular? And he gave a few examples. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take that as a good sign because I find it frustrating that people can listen to this stuff, hear all this stuff, and then they're still going to go live 4 or 5 times a week for 4 or 5 hours every single time when they could go 3 times a week for 4 hours each time and then spend that time that they were streaming doing other work. But here's the thing, and I'm going to say it again, and I say this every single time. The reason people will never do that, and if you're listening to this is a big call out. I'm going to say it. I don't give a fuck. The reason you'll never do that is because it's hard.
Yep.
That is the truth. It is fucking hard to say, I'm going to do 3 days a week rather than 5 days a week. And I'm going to spend the 10 hours that I gain from that working on things that require me to do it. It's much easier to click go live and to just stream some games and stuff like that. And I know it's hard. And the reason I know it's hard is because I've just done it and it fucking sucks.
Yep. Amen.
Because the days when I don't go live now, if I don't get enough work done, I feel like shit because I'm not being productive. If I was live for 5 hours, at least I feel productive.
Yes.
But you know what? I'm still going to push this route instead. And I'm trying to be harsh here because I legitimately think there's a lot of people who are very, very funny, talented people listening to this. And I want you to succeed, especially I'm saying it. I know there are ANZ partners, all right, listening to this. And I know for a fact you tweeted out about the Diversify stuff that I'm calling out. I love yous. I want you to be successful. You are the ones holding yourselves back.
Yep. Amen. I think you've just got to take... Yeah, preach. I'm not going to harp on about it anymore. But honestly, I'm scared. I'm doing this. To me, this was the big call out that we talked about from the very beginning. Twitch has made changes. YouTube has made changes. I look at both those changes. I'm like, what's going to help me more in the future? YouTube at the moment. So what have I got to do? I've got to start gearing myself towards making that content available on YouTube. I'm always going to have Twitch there. I'm always going to do it. I currently stream 4 days a week. I need to bring that down to 3 for my own sanity, for my own well-being, and also to diversify, which is what I need to do. I'm doing things to diversify already, but not to the extent that I could be doing them. And for me, this may just be my stupid mind going into play here, but I'm like, daylight savings is about to start up again for some of the states, not for Queensland, obviously. And I'm like, what's a more perfect time to switch over to a new schedule than when the whole world is kind of going back or forward or whatever it is, wherever it is, and go, I'm going 3 days a week. I'm going to have a new YouTube video out every single week. I'm going to do this. And again, to bring it all the way back around, to Stream Room, we are so close to 1,000 subs. And when we do, you will see us go live on stream and you can yell at us in person live about how wrong we are, about how we shouldn't diversify and everything like that. But please, gang, it's all about how you're going to make it. We are doing things outside. Simply this podcast, I think, is a big diversifying thing. We're putting our portfolio into, obviously, we can talk about topics. We put ourselves out there to an international market, and people want to be on the podcast or talk to us about the podcast. And the fact that we have that reaction shows that it's working. It would be so scary if we put out a video we're about 8 months in. Is that right, boys? About 8-9 months, something like that. And we're
something like that. We're at episode 30. This is episode 38.
Yeah, 38. Oh my God.
We're almost a year
What
on.
are we going to do for episode 69? We have to do something special for that one, right?
Man, that's double the... What do you mean? What about a year?
Yeah, that's a year away.
Planning 69. Why are you planning 69?
Also, I want to say on what you said, to add on what you said, LJ, I don't know how much you experienced this when you were doing nighttime streams. So often, like, I'll be getting into the rhythm of working on something. Then I look at the time and think, shit, I have to stream. But I really want to continue working on this thing. And I'm just like,
But then you're dead tired as well because you worked all day. Now you're going into the live show and you're like, fuck, I am going to die. Whereas if you stream in the mornings and then you work in the afternoon and evenings, you're like, I can be dead tired in the afternoon and evenings and get through this because I don't have to be a big personality right now. Whereas you wear yourself out throughout the day, then you go live and have to be a big personality and you fucking can't because you're dead tired from using your brain power all day. And it's like, again, I didn't have a choice about when I could or couldn't stream. I had to stream at night times because of my life, right? Only recently has it all changed. And it's like so funny to me because it's like, I just had to make do.
Yep.
Also, night times is the worst fucking time slot on the platform for us.
Yeah,
like it is the lowest time slot. America are asleep, the UK are at work, and Australians go to bed. So you're like, oh, cool. I get like this tiny little window at the start of the stream where the UK are getting ready for work and Europe are getting ready for work, where Australia are just sitting down after work. I haven't gone to bed yet, but Americans still aren't there. And then Australia goes to bed, UK goes to work, so chat quiets down, and then Americans wake up. But America's not finding you because all the big streamers are waking up around midnight anyway and going live, and so you're screwed. It's literally the worst fucking time slot in existence. Yes, there are enough viewers for everyone to go around, but it's still so fucking stupid.
It's really rough, especially in like sort of like central and east coast, right? For example, anyone who lives on so the west side of Australia is in a way better situation if they're streaming at like nighttime, because like they're in for my case, an hour and a half behind, and in your guys' case, they're 2 hours behind. So if they were to go live at say the same time that I like at sort of 7:30, for example, right? It's a lot earlier. It's a bit more during the daytime. But then if you flip it for Europeans and the Americans, but during daylight savings, it's actually a benefit, I think, for them because Americans stay up later. So yeah.
It is very, very, very strange. Boys, let's get on to, speaking of subscribers and stuff, let's get into the comments. Because we got a great question today.
Yes.
I really love this question.
Okay.
I'm really, honestly, I love this question. But, okay, first comment though, before we get into the question, is from PB on last week's episode. PB is called Poster Boy. Sorry, nickname. He's from my chat. Only 2 rants from LJ today. Laughing emoji. Guests must keep him calm. Great pod. Wonderful to see another guest. It's always good to bring on another perspective on content creation.
Great.
All right, a little harsh. I hope I've met my quota today. I hope I have. Another person saying I looked fantastic in shorts and they loved having Lonely Shark on, which I think is also fantastic.
Excellent. Sharky was a pleasure to have on.
He was great. And now for the question of the day. It's from Jennifer, and they actually commented this on last week. I know we have a back catalog, but I love this question so much, is why I picked it out. Are you guys, firstly, she says, awesome podcast. I know.
Stop.
Are you guys ever afraid that something you do or say will put you back in 0 viewers? Or do you think you'll have a good enough community that you will stick with no matter what happens?
Ooh.
I got a wild take on this one, so I'm keen, but I'm going to let you boys go first.
Okay, Nick, do you want to take the reins on this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes. So, and I have an example of this. So, like, since no,
Not your
okay,
example.
that's okay. That sounds
This
worse
is my
than it is. But
7th
let me
altar
just hear me out for a
I've been
second.
bannervading since the days of Justin TV.
So back in the early days, like I was still my sort of meme lord self. Like I was very memey, and I like to put on a bit of a show and things like that. So when I had a raid come in, I used to, you know the song Big Booty Bitches?
Yep.
Right? Do you guys know that song?
Big Booty Bitches. Yeah. Well, it's
Yeah.
going to be my wedding song. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. LJ, you're looking...
Mine's my wedding song was Shake That.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
My humps, maybe. Okay, continue on.
Yeah. Anyway, so I had that song, right? And I did a little dance to it when a raid came in, right? So basically what people, what they were perceiving it was they kind of took the song personally and decided that, so what, like, people coming, what about like skinny people and what about this and that? And I'm like, wait, no, this is just a song. It's just a fun gag. And so eventually I just kind of threw the whole thing away because people kept having, like, new people coming to the channel just kept having this negative reaction to it.
Right.
And so that was my example. I was gonna say it sounded a lot worse than it was, but
It sounded like it was going to be terrible,
Yeah.
but that just
I was
sounds
like, okay,
ridiculous.
it's one of those things. It's like you think something might be fine, but then it just kind of has a really weird. People have a weird take on it. I'm always worried and nervous that something I might do or say that we all try to keep ourselves in check. We understand we're in a public space, but something you
I don't think, hear me out. I don't think we have to. I don't think we, like, there's a difference, right? If you're just a decent person, you don't have to keep yourself in check.
No,
it's just a weird thing to say. Like, I legitimately find that, like, people always talk about how, like, I wouldn't last a day on Twitch. I have to censor myself. It's like, motherfucker, that you shouldn't have to censor yourself in everyday life. Right? Like, I don't know. Anyway, sorry, keep going.
Yeah. But yeah, I think there's always the fear that, like, something you might think is funny or okay ends up just being taken in bad taste.
Yeah.
I think it's also a lot of the time people just whoosh. I mentioned this before on the podcast where it's like, I doing hot sauce shots during my 2-year anniversary stream on Twitch. And someone said, drink milk, hold the milk in your mouth. And I said, what do you mean? I put on the big voice, tough to myself. I'm a man. I don't put white stuff in my mouth and hold it. And two people thought I was making a homophobic joke when it's the complete opposite of that, right? Like, and it's because people have their own personal connotations and their own personal wishes. Whereas if you took 2 seconds to think about the fucking joke and what's funny about it is I'm making fun of toxic masculinity, the opposite of homophobia, right? Sorry, if you're still going, Nick, you keep
No,
going.
I was pretty much done.
All right, go on, Reepsy. Are you scared you're going to end up at 0 viewers?
No. That may sound really like piss poor of myself or like a cocksure type of person, but I feel that I know, as you said, that I'm a decent person overall. I'm not saying I'm the greatest. I'm not saying I'm the worst. I'm just saying that I'm a decent person. If I got to 0 viewers, I would have to do something so heinous that people are like, I cannot even, be associated with this person. You know what I mean? And I know that I have not done anything heinous in that regard. And if I did, I should be at 0 viewers. You know what I mean?
Heinous, like showing your anus.
Yeah, like what can
Sorry,
I do
the
that
rhyme
people
I
like,
had to.
I cannot watch this person anymore.
Sorry to break into your Reap site. It's time to expose you. I've made a PDF of you over the past year. Everything is going to get
God.
exposed. It's all over.
It always happens, doesn't it?
I didn't even take this question in this route, to be honest. When I read this, I thought they meant like, are you ever worried about the fact that you're going to end up at 0 viewers in general? I took this a completely different route.
I'm
I didn't
thinking
think
on the
about
route of like, what have I got to do on stream to go to 0 viewers? But
Reeps is worried about getting cancelled.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking like the cancel culture thing, because the whole, the Slicker thing coming out, crazy Slick, Ms. Kiff at the moment, like there's this whole kind of hurricane around like the person, you know what I mean? Like doings offline that have made their way online and everything in between. And to me, if I ever reach 0 viewers from my content, I would never stream. Like I was just like, that's it, because it's like, what am I doing that's so bad from a content creative perspective that not a single person wants to watch? Now, I think the biggest scare for people would be you do the same thing over and over again. You know what I mean? Like you just keep like playing the one game that's now, out of not even part of the meta, right? I don't think I'd ever do that because again, I'm variety, right? I go the variety route. And again, if it ever was that thing of like, I'm doing something so wrong, that to me is like the greatest gift I can receive, because it's like, it's time to try new ventures. So I never really worry about it. I'm never like, oh God, my viewership's going down or things like that. To an extent, you know what I mean? But I don't think I'm ever worried about going to 0 viewers because again, that's streaming. Well, I think if you put out videos and they go to 0 views, that's when I'd be freaking the fuck out, and I'm sure that it would happen. So that's what I'm scared of more. If I put out a video and nobody watches it, that's my scare.
Okay. I took this question completely differently,
go on.
personally. I took it from a question of like, are you ever worried you're going to end up at 0 viewers again after being here? As someone who has seen a pretty steady decline, like if someone comes up to me and say, hey, LJ, how's your life going? I'd be like, oh yeah, pretty steady decline. like that's a Cold Ones reference if you don't know. But essentially, like, I've seen a steady decline. And this may come across as a hot take, but at this point, if I ended up with 0 viewers on Twitch, weirdly, I part of me is like, man, that'd be relieving.
I was about to, LJ, I'm so glad you said that because I was gonna bring that up. I'm like, do you have that little part of you that's like, if it just
I don't
dies,
have to
like,
yeah.
you don't
put
have to
myself
worry
over to
about it.
anyone.
I love streaming, right? Don't get me wrong. I love streaming. I like doing it. But I've said this before, recording a video offline, I feel safer.
Yeah.
I think I'm funnier. Like when I'm live, I'm constantly worried about the fact people might call me shit, or like something might go wrong, or all these issues happen. But when I'm offline, I can just I can go, oh, I need to pause for a sec, or this is not working, or this is broken, or whatever it is, and I can just be funnier.
Yeah.
Like I can be myself better. But like I don't want to be at 0 viewers, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, the question is, are you ever worried about being at 0 viewers? And it's like, no, because 0 viewers means 0 pressure. Like at all, like completely and utterly 0 pressure. And the only reason I'd be concerned about having 0 viewers was because then people would say stream scheme. Okay, what does he know, right?
Yeah.
But even then, people have been coming to my stream lately, and they've started saying, "Oh, I didn't know you streamed." And I was like, "How'd you find me?" They go, "Stream scheme." I'm like, hold on. I'm like, what do you mean? And they go, oh, I watch your videos and I love them, but I didn't realize you streamed. And I'm like, I say,
Oh my gosh.
I used to say in every single video that I'm live right now, right? But I stopped doing that about 8 months ago in order to get the retention rate higher.
Yeah.
And there's a whole generation of stream schemers now who have no idea that I'm actually live because I never tell them. And I had a realization that my steady decline in viewership might be because I've not been telling anyone that I stream for the last 9 months. Literally, the last 9 months, I haven't been like, I'm live right now.
Yeah.
So I've realized that I might be my own worst enemy trying to boost retention rate.
Self-sabotage.
Right? But like, okay, so to answer the question of, look, everyone knows it's not a secret that I would rather be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Right? It's not a secret. I've said that 1,000 times. I'd rather be a YouTuber. I'd rather post a video once a week on 2 different channels, so 2 videos, and I'd be able to do everything from there and then go live once or twice a week to an audience who have watched my videos and they're catered, their demographic, they suit it right. They get it right. And that's fine. I stream when I go live. It's really hard for me because I go live because I enjoy the aspect of live stand-up, right? But the problem I have is that I find the platforms so inherently unrewarding, right? And I think people will be like, well, you know, maybe you're just not enjoying it as much. It's not unrewarding. But it's like, when you think about it, it's like, I'm at a certain age in my life now where I want to build something substantial.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like the rat race, the rigmarole. And I find that streaming is the same as having a 9-to-5 job, which I don't like. I'm not saying hustle culture and shit, because also if you don't like hustle culture, then you shouldn't be a streamer, because that is what streaming is inherently. It's grinding. It is hustle culture, right? Content creation is different though. Content creation is strategy. But essentially, I just find going live, even to 300 viewers, going live to 100 viewers, going live to whatever level of viewers, it feels unrewarding because I end the stream and I haven't built something from it. Yeah, I've made people laugh and that's sick, but I can't feel as excited and as rewarded in content creation as when I've actually built something and when I could actually have something to show for it. Like, hear me out. I went live the other day and I averaged something like 150 to 180 average viewers. I peaked at like 250 viewers. It was a really fun stream. I was playing a Nuzlocke. I lost my entire team bar 2 Pokemon, a flying type and a water type, right? Here's the thing. I was up to the electric gym. If anyone doesn't know about Pokemon, electric, 1 hits flying types and 1 hits water types, right? So I was up the creek without a paddle. Really fun, amazing stream, okay? Huge average, huge unique chatters. I made like $100, right? USD.
Nice.
But you know what? I uploaded a YouTube video a day and 11 hours ago of my wife guessing Pokemon names. It's only had 155 views on it so far in the day and 11 hours, but a large chunk of those are browse. There's a huge algorithm boost. Like, I got an extra like 70 views this morning in the space of a couple hours because the algorithm started suggesting it. You see the impressions tick up. You understand the science behind why the impressions ticked up. You see the click-through rate change when those impressions start spiking. You go, okay, this is part of the retention rate here that didn't work. Let's adapt that for next time. Okay, this worked when I did this. This didn't work when I did that. I can understand all those things, and that can build and be there for the rest of my channel's lifespan, right? And I can improve. But when I go live on Twitch, and I go live for 5 hours to all those people, all I see are a bunch of numbers that say, here are your final totals and here's how it is. And I can't affect those final totals. All I know is that today, 80 people liked my go live, 150 average viewers were there, and this is how many people chatted. There's no direct feedback that says at this exact moment, we're going to show this stream to more people for this reason.
Yeah.
Oh, you got 100 more live views? Why? Tell me why. On YouTube, it says to me, hey, we gave you 1,000 extra impressions in the space of 3 hours. The reason? It's because you had a higher click-through rate today. And they say those words to you. Your click-through rate made this video more appealing, so we shared it to 1,000 more people, right? And that is incredibly rewarding. Having the science, the steps, the understanding, something you can control. People say that YouTube is harder than Twitch. People say that understanding the YouTube algorithm is difficult. No. It really isn't. It takes within 2 weeks of actually researching and taking notes, anyone can understand the YouTube algorithm. Appealing to it, much more difficult. And actually making content is much more difficult because it takes a long time before the algorithm is willing to start pushing you to people, right? That's just how it is. So to me, when you say, are you worried about going back to 0 viewers? I think to myself, no. To be honest, I'm not worried whatsoever. If I went back to 0 viewers, I would probably just start streaming on Stream Scheme, to be real. I would probably just start streaming over on the LJ channel. And the hard reality of it is that when this channel tab stuff changes, I might be streaming on the LJ YouTube channel moving forward, right? And I'm probably going to go down to having like 20, 30 viewers, but I'm probably also not really going to give a shit because the thing that I'm building will never expire. The 60 days that VODs expire on Twitch, that's not a thing on YouTube. It'll sit there on its own tab. You know what I mean? It'll exist. People can sample it, clip it. I can turn it into shorts on the same platform, build views on it. Maybe it's a rant, but at the same time, Twitch is just building a platform that is inherently a huge amount of effort for minimal reward. And it feels like with all the changes recently, they know that and they're cashing in as much as they can on the current viewership with ads, sub revenue splits, extra check things here, pushing this, pushing that, because they know it's inherently unrewarding and that this is a short thing. Make money while the hay shines.
That's right. I was going to say that I would like to echo those statements as well in regards to the fact that I watch a YouTuber, I'm sure you'll know him, Finza, if anyone's heard of Finza.
Oh, yeah.
And he did an amazing YouTube video. I recommend everybody go watch it. It's his latest one. And it's basically about how he became a YouTube partner and how he makes money. And he goes through his whole journey, you know, within the space of 10 minutes or so. And I was just so like, yeah, this is what I want to do. As you said, when you go live, you can't be creative for 5 hours, right? There's always downtime of you just playing the game, responding to comments. It's easy kind of content. But when you have to make a YouTube video and condense it down to whatever it is, 10, 20 minutes, 5 minutes, you really have to think about what's going to appeal to a lot of viewers. And I feel that there's a lot more creative input when you do it. When I go live, don't get me wrong, I love going live, but there's days where you're just like, I do not want to exert that amount of energy because I simply don't have it. But I have to push myself because if I don't, I will lose said viewers, I will lose said income, and I've got nothing to back myself up. When I look at YouTube or any kind of video output of evergreen content, that appeals to me so much more because then I can try and experiment with different editing techniques, camera angles. While with OBS, you've got to literally do 5 hours of setup to make sure that they work. And sometimes they don't because OBS breaks on you. Don't get me wrong. OBS is great. It's a free tool. It's amazing. All the extensions they've done, phenomenal. But I know I'm in so much more control when I do a video. And the thought that I don't have to go live for a week and still have income that I can dispense because I got a video up or something, that fills my heart with such joy because the amount of pressure and stress that I feel on a week-to-week basis trying to be like, do I have enough money or income that will get me by? It's paramount, and it really does play negative effects on your brain. The thing that's helped me these past few weeks is I've been going for walks every single day. I've just got out of the house, doing 10,000 steps, just simple things, listening to a podcast, things that help me. But going forward with the changes that I've said, I'm so excited to try and dip my toes in another avenue. And you know what? Chances are I may fail, but at least I tried. If the worst thing would be, as we've said many times, is you get 5 years down the track, you look back and you go, man, I just wish I would have gone for it sooner. I wish I just changed something because there's always that fear of stepping off the cliff into the unknown. You know what I mean? There's always this thing of like, oh, it's so hard to learn the algorithm. It's so hard to learn the TikTok kind of traits and meta and everything like that. But once you do and you see a successful payoff, you feel so good about yourself. You feel so good about yourself. You're like, I did it. I actually did it. And I think that people who are sticking to Twitch because they have made it to the degree that they want to, they're like, this is easy. I've done it. I paid off the hard work and I'm just going to rest on my laurels for a bit. Let it come in. I can't do that anymore. I know that in a year's time, I will be kicking myself if I'm not trying other avenues to do it.
Yep. Like
I guess I just don't understand why. It comes back to what I said earlier. I don't understand why it's not like people like you, Reaps, but it's people who stream, 5 days a week and they're always live for like 5 to 8 hours. And it's like, I understand you're doing that many hours because you have revenue to make and this is your job, full-time streaming. But like, it's just so inherently backwards. Why would you want to stream for 5 years and have nothing to show for it when it all falls apart, when instead you can make a change now and actually do this long term? I don't know about you guys, but if all this goes away tomorrow, I have some skills that I can apply to work for other places,
Same.
right?
Yep.
But as a streamer, you can sort of do it, but it's going to be much harder. And it's like, the other thing is, if I stop streaming tomorrow, Stream Scheme will still be making me a decent chunk of cash every single month. If I stopped uploading videos tomorrow, it'll all still bring in views for a good few months, right? For years, to be honest, right? Like, I guess I just, in my head, the reason I'm so passionate about this and why I call people out when I say it is because inherently, I know just how much pressure they are under more than most, because I'm not like Harris Heller, who this isn't against Harris Heller, but like he doesn't have the same pressure that I think a lot of streamers have because he used to have huge sub numbers, right? Like he was massive. And I think that you kind of lose touch with a lot of creators when you have huge sub numbers. And why I get so intense about this and call for this action from partners, and why I say partners our size aren't doing enough and why they're not doing that, is because I inherently know that, hey, we're all living our dream life right now and our dream job. It's stressful, sure, but it's our dream job. But it can all just fucking go away.
Yep.
Like, for the love of God, it can all go away. Please do something else. And it's like, oh, you're just rubbing it in my face. No, mate. No.
Streaming is so volatile. And then when, especially like, you know, and we've said this before, like when you're relying on, you know, donations, subs and bits, that is a volatile income source. You're relying on the generosity of people. But at the same time, you're also relying on the fact that people will continue watching you as well. Like at least on YouTube, there is a systematic process of your content. Like as long as you have focused content, you're not just posting whatever the hell you want, you know, on different stuff, different, you know, whatever. Like as long as you have a game plan for your channel.
Guys, today I'm reviewing the Sabian sex doll toy.
Don't give away
I know
my
that
next video, mate.
you really
prick.
enjoyed my Sims video, but no, I'm gonna do Sabians today.
Yeah, then go check out I've got a video on crypto coming out next week.
Crypto,
and gambling.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, you know, the viewership on Twitch is also volatile. Like, sure, like you get to a point, you build up your audience and you can hold a sustainable audience. But like even bigger streamers go through big dips as well. You know, like it happens. And so while all of us are confident in ourselves as people saying that, no, we're not, like, I mean, especially that, you know, now that like we're not worried about us going to 0 viewers because of anything we'll do. But at the same time, for whatever reason, if it does happen, we have backup plans, or we're putting steps in place so that we do have a backup.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the key difference as well. Like literally what you said, LJ, is that like a lot of people won't have backup plans, and everyone's saying, oh, but you know, I can go into like social media management and things like that. Well, yeah, not really. Like unless you've built a big social media following. Like companies aren't gonna be like, oh, you're a streamer, so you can do social media management. I mean, like they want to see proper results. So like you really gotta think about that.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing. I know a few content creators in our space who have just recently transitioned out of being full-time streamers and instead moved on to doing influencer programs.
Yep.
So like they run influencer in regions and stuff like that. And like, I actually don't think most streamers have that skill set, which is really funny. I think a lot of streamers believe that they can do that, but I don't think they have the marketing background and experience in order to be in those roles. And the reason I say that is because I actually think if you had the experience to be able to step into a community management role or a marketing role at a brand that is parallel to this industry, you would be a much bigger streamer.
Yeah.
Because to do that job, you actually requires a lot of background knowledge, information, experience in those things. And I think it's like a very easy assumption to be like, I would just go be a community manager. But like, I know a few community managers and the shit they do is like actual data-driven demographic understanding, like carefully tweaking posts and tweets and handling back and forths and responding to stuff and releasing content on all the different platforms. Because when you're a community manager, you diversify your brand across multiple platforms. Yeah. But like, it's so much harder than it is. But either way, that's our answer to whether or not we're worried about dropping to 0 viewers. And at the end of the day, not much else you can do about it, right? Not much else you can do about it. You just have to do your best, power through, and create content where you can and control what you do.
Damn straight. Damn straight. But again, because we have reached, I'm guessing, the end of the podcast this week, if you can do all the things that help us with the algorithm, as we've been talking about YouTube a lot today, the likes, the comments, subscribes. Again, if we get to 1,000, we're going to give you a show. I tells you what. So thank you again to all the people who have been commenting, who have been giving us the feedback. And if you do have other people you'd like to see as a guest on the show, please let us know, because we'd love to check them out. Maybe we should do a thing of like, people can also, no, actually, I'm going to revoke that, because you do that all the time, LJ. I was like, give us your channel and we'll see what we would improve and stuff. It's
channel
like, no,
review?
we're not that type
boy.
of that. We're not that type of that.
It is a bad option.
Yeah.
You'll get a lot.
Exactly.
You'll get a lot.
Yeah. Also, but thank you to everybody who, you know, has been watching us, supporting us, commenting and sharing the podcast as well, recommending the podcast to other people. And also shout out to, you know, people who listen and watch this and also have made the effort to try and catch our live streams as well. really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about you guys, like I've had every now and then, like maybe once per stream, I've had someone pop in, you know, they either raid into the channel or popped in saying, oh, you know, love the podcasting. That
Yes.
shout out to Bex, who popped in the other day as well. She's like, oh, I finally caught you live. I'm like, I'm glad you're here. So yeah, big shout out to everyone who has attempted to catch our live streams. Obviously, we've all got different schedules, and you know, it's hard. Again, comes inherently. It's hard to catch live streams. You can watch a YouTube video anytime. So, but we
listen
do
to us
appreciate it.
anytime
Thank
with
you.
this podcast. So yeah, you see how the power of it, the power of evergreen content for sure. LJ, do you want to sign us off?
I will sign you off with a laugh,
Okay.
if that's all
Sure,
right.
do it.
I have been locked out of my bot account, my Twitch bot account, the Royal Butler, for about 3 months now.
Okay.
He's been like still like in my chat and still working, but I got locked out because of the new OBS update and my Stream Deck updating. So I've been trying to retrieve it, right? And this is a big shout out to Twitch. I couldn't retrieve it through the normal support ticket, but I managed to retrieve it by talking directly to partner managers. So massive shout out to ANZ, always smashing it. But I got logged back in to it, which I needed to. And there's a crap load of DMs to the bot account. It's called Royal Botler, by the way. It's very clearly a bot.
Nice.
And there's a bunch of DMs. And there's a great one that says, dude, please help me. Send message. I was banned everywhere for saying one tiny thing about an Optus ad. Send message. Quick, everyone is banning me in Discord and in Twitch. Can someone please tell him I'm sorry? Send message. Please send message. 2 months later. Hello? And there's a lot of DMs like this of people reaching out to the Royal Botler to ask for help after being banned. But that particular guy, I was like, he said one thing about Optus. Let's go have a look at what that is.
Oh God.
Very first message in chat. Hey, that Optus ad was the most annoying shit I've ever fucking seen. Just saying.
I wonder why. I wonder why.
Why was I banned though?
I can't fathom.
Banned?
I can't fathom the idea.
I just thought you guys would enjoy a cheeky little laugh at the end of that, and a shout out to the ANZ staff who have been absolutely amazing
Killing it
in
at all
helping me
times.
recover my account. Because I'm a numpty. I forgot the email address even associated with this account.
Oh my
I do it
god!
all the
You
time.
write
They've
it
been
down.
amazing.
I don't.
I had it on keychain, but I had a PC issue that like wiped a bunch of stuff, and you know how it is.
Yeah.
But either way, we are dropping frames. I just want to give you a cheeky chuckle. I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. Sorry that we all got a bit intense and ranty, but the changes right now are immense in the landscape, and sometimes if you're not intense and immense in what you say, people won't listen.
Exactly.
I just realized something. This will be the podcast that goes out before PAX. So, anyone going to?
Wait.
Oh shit! Do we have to record?
Wait, is it?
We'll ask after.
No,
We'll
we
talk
can.
about
No,
this
no,
after.
yeah. We'll talk about it after. But this podcast will go out next week. So this will be the podcast for the week of PAX.
Oh, you're right. You're so right. Oh,
yeah.
damn.
So
what's
anybody
your
going
PAX?
to PAX? Yeah, see you at PAX.
Talk
Please,
to us at PAX. Say hello.
Yeah.
I know you're from the podcast, and we'll be like, oh, cool.
Actually, we've had people request a stream room podcast meetup.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've said, can you please give a time and place for your communities to come?
Oh, okay, cool.
Well, we did discuss the fact of doing like a group community thing, so it's like all of us can kind of chill together, and then everyone can kind of meet all three of us, and
You
and
know
hang
how
out.
they can find out about this though. If they follow us on Twitter at
Yes.
StreamRoomPod,
Yes.
we'll tweet out all the information that you need to know. So shout out to that. Please go and follow us, and we'll let you know about the meetup at PAX.
Yes. Either way, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed today's Stream Room podcast. Didn't say stream.
Yeah.
And we are dropping frames. We're out of here. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And if you're listening to it over on the podcast apps, give it a follow.
Yeah,
As well.
please.
Either way, I'll catch you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.